Go to school to get your information. To the school to be part of our discussion. School television. School radio station. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, moreover, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Funjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat kepa, congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you about today? School TV. Yes, what you about today? School TV. School Bada. Skiddy Dabado. School TV. School entertainment. Go. Go to there.
From the CEOs down coming with the spoon. And your boy, right in the South Bend. Charges on the beat.
Go to school to get your information. To the school to be part of our discussion. School television. School radio station. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, moreover, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Funjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat kepa, congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon.
Good evening, Honorable Barbara Brown.
To spoon. Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you about today? School TV.
Welcome to the program, Spoon Talk. It doesn't matter where you are, who you are, and let me say, good evening to you, Jeans. Good evening, Jeans.
Good evening, Honorable Byron Brown. And good evening, Dr. Richardson.
Good evening, Jeans.
Good evening, Byron.
Can you guys hear us?
Good evening.
Good day. Hello. How are you?
I'm okay.
Oh,
Everything
that's
is fine.
good. Good to see you today. Happy Monday.
Thank you. How
Yeah.
do you do?
It's Monday. You know how it is on Monday. You gotta be back and ready for work, school, everything.
Yeah.
So it's not like Friday where you look forward to relaxing or anything like that. So you gotta be on top of your game on Monday morning, Monday afternoon. So there's lots of things happened over the weekend in Liberia. We'll be doing some Monday afternoon quarterbacking. You know what quarterbacking is? For my limited football knowledge, is when the sports announcers they get back and they figure out like what happened over the weekend or what happened over the play and what should have been done and what shouldn't have been done and all of that stuff. So we're going to be doing a little bit of that here today, talking about some weekend review, some stuff that happened over the weekend. So hopefully when our panelists get here today, we will be on the plan to just have some discussions. So how everything in Morovia? I see we lost Byron.
Morovia, as per what I've been following, Morovia is good. Only best friends turning to enemies now. Yeah. Byron, you
Hello,
getting us
Richardson.
now?
Yes, Byron.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing the best for Monday, but I'm glad to be here. Happy Monday to you.
Best wishes.
Yes, happy Monday to all of our audience, all of those who are here by TV, by social media, by radio, who want to tell you happy Monday and welcome you to Spoon. But we are going to ask James and Byron to sort of just give us their understanding, their knowledge of what happened over the weekend, any news, so that Liberians should be updated and kept up with the current trends in Morovia.
All right. So there are many trending issues in the country, G's, that I have to give this evening.
You
from
said
Liberia.
geez.
G's. Well, our President George Weah yesterday, he clarified that his government, is not seeking the assassination of Senator Prince Johnson, has no plan to assassinate Senator Prince Johnson. Yesterday, while he was preaching, he made the identical statement. And he also slandered or tied Senator Prince Johnson as a killer. We have that identical video, and I sent that to Jeans Gude Flomo this afternoon. The president of the Republic of Liberia.
Uh-huh.
Yes, he tied Senator Prince Johnson as a murderer. He said that. He's on record. Then another thing that is making rounds on the social media, on the radio, is when the CDC had a program, EPS officers were chanting battle cries. I will say that Georgia won. They were holding guns and at the same time wearing CDC barriers. James Gude Flomo also has that. I sent that to him, and the government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Information, has condemned that just this evening. And Mr. Abochie, the pro tem, He also came up with a communication citing the EPS boss to appear before the Senate to explain about what happened, and the government of Liberia has condemned what happened. So at that church, again, while the president, he was preaching in his holy mood, he also said that you remember the ANC story, that boy who allegedly ran with the $70,000, right? That's all.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So President George Weah said that the boy is not guilty. In fact, the ANC lied about him. The ANC lied about him. So the critical question, or the what people are thinking here or asking, is that because whenever the president of the country speaks, his speech carries a greater weight. So the fact that the head of the country, who mustered the courage to say that this boy did not steal the 70K, meaning in a court of competent jurisdiction, this boy can be vindicated. Are you getting me?
I'm getting you very loud and clear.
So far, so good. That's the gist I have on my end.
Wow.
So, including Jefferson Kochi also condemned the actions of the EPS officers. But mind you, before I can conclude on this note, it is not the first time for EPS officers to wear red barriers, the CDC barriers. Last year, when President George Weah, had a program at the SKD, there were EPS officers who also wore red barriers, CDC barriers, and they were there chanting battle cry, saying, "I will say Amanda way to that job. We are holding AK." So that's it on my end.
Power, you said it. Thank you so much for the information. I mean, you couldn't have said it any better for us to get the gist of what is happening, or what happened with those EPS officials. One more. Good day, because I'm speechless, and I'm very.
Our country, we came from war, and everyone, basically, we were described as people who were traumatized because of the war, and we needed other people to help us to, work on our security sector. That cost the country a lot of money. You had army staying in the country for more than 12 years, or almost 12 years. The United States government spent a lot of money on the security sector to make sure that they are professional. And all the president is still doing it. Even the current chief of staff, the current defense minister, they are all beneficiary of what happened at that time. But President Weah's administration is now showing that those monies that were used to revamp the security sector were just made for parties, just for people to have birthday parties and so forth. This is not the first time, to be frank with you. The last time I was in Liberia, CDC had an event. I saw police officers, but they were not in their police uniform, right? They dressed up in their CDC clothes and attended the event. I think those pictures were all on social media. We discussed it. We discussed them. You getting me?
Yeah, I'm getting you, James.
Those pictures were all on social media. So this is not the first time, and I was not surprised we saw it happening. But again, the president said his government did not spend, they did not pay people $20 each to attend the program. He said if they were to do that, it means they get money. But there's this news coming up, unconfirmed, that the government spent nearly $3 million just to get those people out there to attend the event. We've been seeing people burning their CDC clothes they use on that day. Some have been making posts and so forth. Some said they are sedition by liquor. They went there to drink liquor. Some said they are sedition by food. Sedition. Yeah, sedition by money. But I think it's okay, and we hope to see the EPS boss appearing before the Senate. You can still remember the situation that happened with Senator Dillon at the SKD. The EPS officer you saw with that uniform, he was not a mean EPS officer who attacked Senator Dillon, but he was among the team that attacked Senator Dillon.
Uh-huh.
Yes, he was among the guys who you saw attacking Senator Dillon. He was part of that particular group that was assigned to that place. Uh, they have this clique around the president. You know, when President Weah became president, and when he won the presidency, there were seditions in the Sabu unit. You always hear about Sabu unit, Sabu unit. Most
Yeah.
of the guys you see in the EPS today, most of them they just took them and then they carried them. So practically they are seditious. That is why you always see them wearing their CDC shirt, displaying it on a very popular level. They don't even ski. They are not scared. They do it anyhow. So these are all members of Sabu unit you see around. Like you see this guy.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, he was part of the. And right behind him, you have Abachi. You have the president. So you see, this man, he has only one person between him and the president. It
Yeah.
means he's very close to the president. So that president, we are picking it. I used to be in the CDC when he was not president. After he won the presidency, he said, "My picking it, I can't join the force." So the man say we're doing everything to elect our paper. I didn't want it. Yeah. So you have many of them, not only him, you have many of them who can boast of it, that they are seditious and they can do anything to defend the president, to do whatever. That is why you hear most people saying CDC police, CDC this, CDC that. I think only the army we are yet to see some, but I saw many of police officers doing this, doing what he just did. EPS officers is their normal routine to do it, but only the army I'm yet to hear of them doing it.
Yeah. You know, it let's look at the legality. Let's look at, is this appropriate? Is this legal? Is this ethical to have government employees? I consider these EPS officers, although they are the security to the president, but to have government employees engaging in some kind of bias campaign chanting, is this a legal or ethical or good governance matter? This is what concerns me.
And they can say that at what time I will say Joria.
This
I
is the
did
problem.
I didn't want to say.
This is the problem. Should government employees, employees be made to engage in these bias, this battle cry, these enchanting, or can they keep? I mean, it's there's something about it. There's something about either the campaign laws, code of conduct that is troubling me right now. And I will pull that code of conduct law if you guys can even find that for us. Let's just see if under the law can government employees be made to exhibit this kind of behavior, like engaging in battle cries, chanting. Is this professional? Is this ethical? And that's what concerns me, is the degeneration of good governance. These are all the questions that I have. It's our country, you know. I just wonder where we're going. So if you guys find out for me, you know, it's the question that I have. What is just the ethical code? What of the campaign law says about government employees engaging in campaign rhetorics, battle cries, chanting? I know that if you're going to do it for one political party, you must do it for all political parties. And does this open the window for just utilizing public resources? Okay, this is because government employees are public resources, utilizing public resources for the benefit of a political party. That is what my question is. And I see that there was flyers, pictures of banners all over Monrovia with we are 2023 on it. Is it part of utilizing public resources, okay, public streets, public lights, to perpetuate the publicity of, or to show or to carry on the publicity of a candidate? So to me, that's the greater question. That is what is scary. There's something inherently wrong about this in the context of good governance. What do you think, Byron?
Well, the EPS is part of it is part of the national security, and it is forbidden for the EPS to engage into political activities. So no need to look for references in order to rebuke them for what happened or what they did over the weekend. And the action demonstrated by those EPS officers, it was wrong, and that's why the pro tem, he himself, he has invited the EPS boss to appear. But I hope Jeans can, publish the identical picture that I sent to him. I think what the pro tem did, it is just a grandstand, because if you look at this identical picture, you see the pro tem, he's also there.
Of course.
So it is not a news. So why is he shocked? Because he saw those EPS officers wearing CDC barriers and T-shirts. So why is he amazed about what happened? So it is a violation, and I'm going to look for very shocked. I'm going to read this provision that forbids it, the code of conduct. Yes. So I think again, Liberia is just a different country, and this is a country that we have that professional people. It even place the president's life at risk, because anybody could just wear a CDC barrier, whole AK-47 whatsoever, and get into that car and pretend as though they are EPS officer to kill the president. And we have to say this, because whatever happens to the president, it places the country at risk. So I think it was just an unprofessional conduct on the part of those EPS officers. That's what happened. But again, this is a country we find ourselves in. It will just be 2 days, topic, and we'll just go to another topic.
Yeah. And Barbara, you make a good point in terms of our chair being there. He was there. So now all of a sudden he's now going to call a investigation to explore, the use of EPS chanting a battle cry and wearing we are uniform at the partitioning ceremony. So it's why didn't you stop it when you were there? Or why didn't you say something? Why now we're going to go over it when people call this out? But I want to just read something. I just saw election law. It says no candidate or political party, no candidate or political party, that includes Cummings, Buckeye, we are all candidates, that's what we call candidates, or political party shall use state resources, EPS officers are state resources. The banners that I see hanging on the in single there, that government resources are government posts in an election campaign or in preparation for an election campaign, except it is made available to all. Okay, so the difference is, because I see some Liberian people not understanding. If you go, nobody's saying that the president shouldn't have security. He should. He really should. He's the president of the Republic of Liberia. But when security start to wear campaign T-shirts and start saying battle cries that is representative of the president's campaign, that is where the question is. So for you Liberians who are wondering, oh, Liberians have choices. Yes, Liberians have choices. When you go to work, you do your job. You can get off the job and then go to your different political rally or whatever and choose who you want to choose. But you cannot be on the job as a state person and then yelling battle cry and then think that it is okay. There's something that is illegal, unethical, unprofessional about this. Sintamani George, welcome to the program. It's good seeing you.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Byron, good to see you too.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, we're just waiting and having some small talk about what happened and the as Byron calls it, the G's that's going on in Liberia. We'll get into all of it when everyone comes here. But how's your weekend, Tamalin? And then I just want to welcome our guests. And before we go into some important issues of the week, the calendar for the day, our agenda, how are you guys doing? How's your weekend, Tamalin?
Oh, thanks. It was very cold during the weekend, so I spent most of my time indoors with my daughters, and
Nice.
yeah. So only yesterday, a friend of ours invited us for dinner, so
Oh,
went out and came back. But we
very
spent most of the time at home and watching the events in Liberia, and also working the phone lines with some of the major players in the political space. Uh,
sure.
Interesting weekend though in Liberia. It's taking shape now, and we're getting to see what's going to happen in the coming weeks and months. But a lot, I don't know. You mentioned the reply to the president's message by Simeon Freeman too.
No, not yet. We didn't get a chance to talk about anything yet. So if you
Oh,
can
okay.
just hold your thoughts for me, we're gonna
Yeah.
go
Okay.
into that. Kef Hassan, how are you? We just want to welcome our uh, viewers, our audience here today. So and then we're gonna go into our discussions. We're just basically chit-chatting about what is unfolding in Liberia. So let me just go over here and welcome our viewers. I like to do that because of them, we are here. I like to welcome them in no particular order. Zeus Carter is here from the New England area. He says it's cold over there. Kafa Yama is also here. Uh, thank you for joining us. Alexei Menzi is here today. Joseph Kayani Paul is also here. Um, Richard Brenda Richardson, my sister-in-law. Richard, how are you? John Bobo is here. Bayanda Lasborn is here today as well. Kwana S. Bima is here watching from New Jersey. Hello. Blamo Doma is watching from Sierra Leone. Francis Lamy is watching us. Poka Roberts is watching us here today. Ambassador Omodu P. Mali is watching us. Uh, Bulu Cooper is also watching us. Cyrus DK Ben is here watching us. Thank you for joining us. Edward Sally is from 72nd Community. Thank you for joining us. Hold on, I gotta go somewhere. I gotta go to my other system here because the other one's going way too fast for me today. Jimmy Doe is watching us. Nima Pekin from New England is watching us. Kali Joseph M is watching us from Kali Joseph M is from Germany. Germany is in the house. We have Nigeria is also in the house watching us. Perry Atchifon said, hi, doctor. How are you doing? Christina King is watching us from Iowa. Cici Massacre. Hi, cousin Cici. She's watching us from Texas. Ayuba Sharif is from Banga City, Bung County. Banga City is in the house. All of you who are in Banga City, thank you for joining us. James Y. Joa is from Sesto City, River Ses County, Sesto City. Wow. Sesto City, we're thankful that you're here. Thank you very much. Moses Bunder is watching us. Ikofa is also following. Palmina Wea is watching us from Virginia. I believe I saw from Virginia City there. Let me just go back up a little bit. Yes, from Virginia, Monserrato. Manco J. Sunshine Cheer is watching us. James W. Walker is watching us. Thank you very much, James. Patrick Soma is watching us. Alex Jackson from Painesville, Monrovia, Liberia is watching us. Lucretia B. Do Nimle is watching. Thank you very much. Jamel Johnson is watching from France. All of those who are in France, thank you. Jamel, thank you for watching us from France. We got France, Nigeria in the house. Haga Jackson is watching us. Bella Gay is from Longhorn, Pennsylvania. Bella Gay, thank you for watching us. Matthew Responsible Boy Kona is following from Nimba County. We have Nimba County, we have Bone County in the house. Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here. Morris Ziegler is from DC. He's watching. Dixon Yan is from Sacramento. He's also watching. Malish Gee, he's watching. Thank you very much. He says, we love you all. Thank you for your kind gesture. Gibson Blee is from Tapeta City, Lower Nimba County, Tapeta. If you're in Nimba and you're watching, we want to welcome you. Thank you. Ben Gailey Fofana from Turkey. We got Turkey in the house. Someone's watching from Turkey. That is so fascinating. That's great. Liberians and other nationals are watching. North Korea is here. Adele Kebe is watching from North Korea. Thank you for joining us. Michael K. Jackie is from Lofa. He's watching from Lofa. If you're watching from Lofa, James says hello and thank you for joining us. Daria Puma is from Ganta. We got Tapeta, Ganta. Duporo is also here. Ralph P. Williams following from Duporo. Prince K. D. Davis, Susan Berry Estate. Thank you very much. The Netherlands. We got someone watching from the Netherlands. Otis Wia is from the Netherlands. Oh my goodness. Spoon is such a wide stretch all over the place here. Nigeria, North Korea. Thank you guys. We appreciate you so much tuning in to participate in this conversation. Lami Nakamenia Lawrence, Mr. Lawrence, Lami Lawrence from Zedru, Grand Jireh County. Thank you. Those who are in Zedru, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here. Our friend Manjo is also here. Emmanuel Freeman is from Morovia watching us. For all of you here today, I just want to tell you thank you for joining us. We appreciate you watching us from all over the world. It is because of you that Spoon is here. Your interest in Liberia is superior to none. Participate in the comment section. Tell us your feelings, tell us your questions. We appreciate that. So today we're going to be reviewing.
Let me just recognize.
Please go ahead.
The guys, my CDC brother, Patrick Bottle Kennedy, he's in Australia, but he said he watched my CDC headquarters in Monrovia. He's in Australia, but he said you call it on the ASC people, or he telling you.
I even know who, yeah.
I know, right?
Patrick, I know who, yeah. But welcome from
Australia. I also see my brother Isaac Obari Nico Senior from Minnesota, my fireson brother.
Nice.
Yeah, and also I see Seba T. Kenneth from New Jersey, Cornelius Hunter, our big brother.
Yes, from Beaumont, Morovia, everywhere, Cornelius.
And also my man Eric Kwame.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eric, hello. How are you doing? I see Rich Pata from Cyprus. That's and he's watching us today. I see somebody that's watching from Canada. Gregory Bidell from Canada. I think if I pronounced your name correctly. I'm so sorry. My eyes are tripping today. So we want to welcome all of you. We really appreciate you being here today. Please feel free, participate in the comment section. Write your comments, your thoughts, your questions down. We appreciate it today. Today we're going to be discussing what occurred over the weekend. We're going to be having like a weekend review. Some people might call it Monday afternoon quarterbacking. I was trying to explain my little knowledge of football. We'll be looking at what happened in terms of the news, current events. James and Byron already just told us that. We're going to play some of the tapes. For example, we're going to play the tape with Ria in his church, and then we're going to have us give our reactions to it. We're going to play the tape with the MDR. I believe they did a response today. So we definitely will be playing that, and then we're going to have our reaction to that. And then we're going to have some concluding thoughts about the role of pay to play in our elections, because although we understand that people are saying no money were given, but there were tapes that showed money were exchanged. And is that part of the Liberians' election process, pay to play? We're just going to discuss it. Is it good for democracy? Is it good for good governance? And then we want to talk about the involvement. We saw McGill at the partitioning program. What does it mean? Does it mean that he's back in the government, or is he just supporting the president in the context of the sanction? We can have some discussions about that. What is crowd politics equivalent to in Liberia? Is that part of our landscape, in our political landscape? Crowd politics play. And is Tyler and Johnson still out? The last time they said they were still out of the agreement. Are they still out, or are they in? We don't know. We'll have some discussions about it. So join us as we have, the different discussions. So let's go around a little bit. Let me give me your opening thoughts. We can have your opening thoughts, Sintomalin. What are your opening thoughts for today?
Again, it's good to be back. First of all, concerning the event of the weekend, we know the issue about the EPS in holding weapons, and they are being paid by taxpayer, and in CDC T-shirts. I mean, that's a no-no. And I think earlier Chairman Byron mentioned it. The president pro tem should not even be speaking. He lacks any moral right to even talk about questioning the EPS for that. He was walking in the line right behind the guy. You see him?
Yeah.
He saw it. If he had anything, he would have contacted the EPS director right after he sat down. But only because the public all cried. That's why he's making this comment.
The speaker is also there.
Yeah, I see all of them, and they all saw it, and that's why I say, if it left for me, Abachi and Bovachima shouldn't return to the legislature. But again, who knows? The people of Grand Crew and Maryland will go and elect them. They should not even let them return. These are the people that they have probably betraying the public trust. They have not served the people well. Because again, but they're all about themselves. I don't reason why they'll be reelected. We can't have that man as speaker for the next session. He and the pro tem. I don't take them serious because they have not even acted like leaders in the first branch of the government. I mean, you can be a part of the ruling establishment, we agree, but at the same time too, you got to follow the Constitution, man. You got to follow the laws. I mean, you saw a lot of violations that even the code of conduct were all violated on Saturday. We saw it too, but they will be silent on it, and that's not how you do it. When Ellen was president, I remember when Ellen Poe violated the code of conduct, they went after them for it. But you saw it. In fact, it's simple. Election laws talk about it too. The code of conduct. You cannot be active official of government and you be involved in campaign stuff. As some people from integrity institutions are all there too. That's not how you do it. I mean, if you want to hire, you can hire, but don't come in the public view to show it. That was wrong. And some of the opponents are calling them up for it, and that's wrong. You can't do that. We are following elections in Liberia, and that's not how you do it. So when I hear them talking about someone the EPS boss, that's another charade, man. He will come there, they will just talk. You go back, not to come out of it. But that's what we find ourselves in today. But then also too, I hope we could talk about. I listened to Simeon Freeman respond. You get I think honestly, he responded one of the most powerful I received from the opposition so far. Simeon Freeman. He was he was detailed in his response, and he made some good points in his response, and so forth. And then too, the U.S. government, I think you guys are aware, they issue a warning about their funds. They say they're concerned about the funds being misused and the taxpayer money being misused and in Magibi. And that's another serious thing again.
Yes.
And then, I heard this thing too last week, but I thought it was a joke until it be confirmed that the CIA boss did make an unannounced visit to Liberia, but only to meet with the president, I think. But he made that visit, but it wasn't announced. William Burns. But usually the CIA they don't announce the visit when they're making these visits to countries. He made a visit to Liberia, and he met with the president and those who he needed to meet with, and left. He went to Libya from there. So we don't know what the outcome of that meeting, but there was a highly placed meetings that was quietly done. So We don't know what's happening, but we know that the U.S. government, they are monitoring our elections. Liberia is on the radar. They're taking elections very serious, and just got to keep on playing playing it safe and play by the rules, And lastly, the CDC had a very successful, you would say, successful turnout on Saturday. They came out in numbers. We can play the politics and say how they reached that number, but at the end of the day, as far as they're concerned, the optics say that they made a turnout and send a message to the opposition and the opponents that they are taking it serious. So hopefully and then I think after that CDC turnout, I heard during the weekend a lot of discussion went on with the opposition and they are talking seriously now. But again, that's how you do it. CDC needed to do a weekend to them to get them to get them together. But who knows? But yeah, let's see what happened the rest of the show.
Sure, great. Thank you for your opening, Tumalin. Kev Hassan.
Hello to everybody.
Hi, Kev.
First of all, let me just mention about one of the things Tumalin flagged about the U.S. statement. When you look within the statement, you will find where they're saying that the Ministry of Health make an immediate change, a swift action by the Ministry of Health and make immediate change while they're investigating the matter. So they also said that the ministry took a swift action. So meaning that the government took action. So that's the story. So when we're talking about it, we have to talk about what it also said about the government. So within the statement is there, so people can go and read what they say about the swift action by the government. So we need to talk about that too, and also the noise about the EPS. The lawmakers that doing the stuff, calling the EPS boss. That's the right thing to do. But where the former defense minister openly campaigned for the Unity Party. Well, where was all this firing? Samuka, a defense minister, openly, I guess Tumalin know that, openly campaign for a Unity Party twice. So to see people from the opposition bloc that did that, I don't know, just playing politics. The lawmaker called the EPS boss. That's the right thing to do. But it's strange that the defense minister, you mean the head of the military, openly campaign. So I don't know where all this noise coming from. If the only thing that opposition can look at on that rally, I mean, it was a very successful rally. I agree with Tony. It was successful, very successful. The people of Liberia came out, the people, and sent a strong message to all the naysayers that propaganda will not work. We're talking about people from all sides, the entire country, not only in Monrovia, from Nimba, Lofa, Bomi, all over. The people came out. The footage are out there in different counties. They came out and just sent a strong message that whatever you're saying to the opposition, saying, we are not buying it. We are not buying it. And we begin to realize that the more the opposition going with this kind of false narrative and lie, you're working for us. If you're going to come and lie, and lastly, because my opening, Tumalin, I always say this: the Liberian people are smart. Our voters are smart. You know, I always talk about the silent voters. They don't call on the radio. They went to TikTok and send a message. They don't call and put people on the streets. You see, when Spoon will put people on the streets, you saw that John Manawia. You see how the rally consistent with Spoon pulling. You see how consistent the rally and Spoon pulling. Very consistent. And again, we can try again. You will see it. The people are not buying the rhetoric. The people are not buying the lies. The people are not buying into political racketeers. They are not buying into that anymore.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Fagon, your opening comments, please.
Thank you, Dr. Francine, and good evening to all. Let me, first of all, make a correction here. The defense minister is not a military man. That is why he's appointed by the president. So Brani Samuka is a civilian, and that is what I was a civilian. He's still a civilian anyways. I don't want to get in Dr. Francine class here quick. So the defense minister is not a soldier. He's appointed by the president. That's why our constitution says that position must be for the civilian. And when President Weah took over, Daniel Ziankan was the chief of staff. That's why they retired him so that he can become a civilian, so that he can become the appointee. That solved that other problem. Let's come to what the United States Embassy said. I'm going to quote. We commend the investigative journalism that brought this story to light, meaning it was not the government that found it. Then the statement continued, and appreciate the swift action by the Ministry of Health to make immediate changes while investigating the matter. Now, listen to the indictment, meaning this government never ends an investigation. The U.S. Embassy said, and I quote, the USAID mission to Liberia will decide whether to retain Magibi as part of USAID's government-to-government agreement pending a transparent investigation and associated actions to hold accountable anyone involved in the misuse of any U.S. government funds. That speaks for itself. They will decide pending the outcome of a transparent investigation, and you must hold the people accountable. Now, that case closed. We're not praising government yet. It speaks for itself. In fact, it further indicts the government to say, hey, every investigation, nothing can hold it. They want, you must investigate. It must be transparent. You must hold people accountable before we give you another dime. On the issue of the weekend saga and the playoff, it is now clear. For me, don't go slap somebody and say the person must slap you back. I'll take P mother pencil and run behind you. So I wouldn't say the pulpit to pulpit battle, where you had, not in this case, the senator against the president. It was the pastor against another pastor. So whatever they used their pulpit and did in the church, that's none of my business. What I'm looking at is the substance within the messages they preached to the congregation. Okay. What I gathered was that Prince Johnson said, this man...
Minister will play it and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, so let's leave that one. There is one part I'm trying to capture where the president said on the pulpit, "Finna get the people $20 and the people tax money."
Huh?
Yes, it's in that tape. I'm going to find it and send it to Good Day.
Yeah.
So if you say because finna get the people $20 that they tax money, what's the difference between that statement and that of Nathaniel McGill's statement?
Wow.
So again, all of the things they said. For example, I know that you support Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings, $70,000 through ANC or whatever got missing, right? And you come out and announce to the whole country as the chief law enforcement officer by the law. The law says you are the chief law enforcement officer. And you come out, you say, y'all use your own money, y'all go lie on the labor. Then free the man. Because now the chief of law enforcement officer is saying that Your people lie on the labor. So why the police were investigating or even charging him or sending him to court? This is the same kind of thing that happened with Gifty Lamade. The president said they were making love in the car. That killed the investigation. So when you make these kinds of statements ahead of anything, it has implications. Even though you said, oh, some people kill people. But this time, Prince Johnson is saying the government lied about the killing. The government came out with a statement and said, at no point in time did it say that the EPS officer committed suicide. I agree with the government if you say you never said it. So how did he die? Did you tell the Liberian people how he died? Did you give them a story? You say you didn't say he committed suicide, but there were 3 bullets lodged in his head. Who put it there? How did it get there? What happened? So I'll just leave my opening to make it short. Sure. That the crowd you saw at the Antoinette Tubman Stadium is not consistent with Spoon's network pooling. Here is why I say so. Hey, listen to this and listen cleverly. We saw a crowd and we were beating in the special elections. We saw a crowd and we were beating in the by-elections. We saw a crowd and we were beating in the midterm election. We see another crowd we will be beating in the general elections. Why? That is what is consistent with Spoon's pooling. Every pool that Spoon did proved that these things happened in the past and they will happen now. That people say, you know what? If I don't go there, they will fire me. How do we know? The president said on the altar in his sermon that if you don't follow us, what will we do? You follow your leader, we sack you. The people who follow us will put in there. Did you people not hear that? Dr. Francine, will you not play that? So you expected government workers to stay home so that they can lose their jobs? It's not going to happen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for all of your opening comments. Just a summary here. We all...
Dr. Richardson, can I make one correction quick?
Yes, go ahead, Kev.
There's 2 positions in the government that is not political, although it was appointed by the president. Justice and defense. It's not they don't use that position to campaign. Think about it. If Musa didn't campaign, what will you say? That 2 positions, they don't campaign. Even though they are appointee of the president. But the justice and the defense, you don't use that area to campaign.
Okay. All right.
I want to
do that. They are not part of campaigning. You cannot campaign with those 2 positions.
The issue here.
I'm
sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Dr. Richardson, we all belong to Spoon. We did a polling. Our polling were accurate, consistent with what happened on Saturday. Every polling from Spoon, John Manneh won it. Your check. Every polling from Spoon, John Manneh won it. We have it. It's very consistent with what happened in Monserrado. So I think it's time for us to stand up for our polling. We cannot allow somebody to say our polling is not correct. Our polling is correct. Unless we want to discredit the network now.
Actually, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to say 3 things that I heard 3 of you guys say here today. 1, we lean into the law that an EPS officer is a government employee, okay, that was on the job and engaged in battle cries and wearing paraphernalia of the government while you're on the job. And there's a law that says that you cannot use state resources to campaign for a political candidate. So that is the issue right here. And I think that's what I heard from Falcon. It's not the position that you have, whether it's political or not. It is using.
He said it's
well, yeah, okay. Well, the essence here is
Justice Minister. Those 2 positions.
Can I have 30 seconds?
Yes, you will. Hold on. trying to have this
Dr.
show.
Even in America you live in, Dr. Wilson, even in America you live in, you will never see a defense minister in America campaigning with the president.
That's not the
You will never see the justice.
That's not the overall premise of the argument. The premise of the argument.
They don't. No. Dr. Wilson,
You interrupted me.
It's not your argument. It's not what you're putting up. I'm not questioning your argument. I'm questioning what Fagon said. When I say the defense minister under the Unity Party campaign, he said he can do it. I'm saying no, you cannot do it. Even in America, you never see a defense minister and a justice minister.
Okay, we're going back.
The formation of government. It's not possible. You're not supposed to.
So let me get my 30 seconds.
Unless you want to dive into lies. That's all. It's not possible. Defense minister in America campaign.
I only want 30 seconds. I want. It will not be more than 30 seconds. If it is, cut me off.
Go ahead, Fagon.
Thank you. America does not have defense minister. They have Secretary of Defense.
It's the same thing.
It's
the same thing, man. That's nonsense, man. It's the same thing. Secretary
of Defense. Guys, listen, you gotta behave like adults here. We use the people, audience that are watching us, okay? Kev, listen, the essence of what we're discussing, let's elevate our conversation, and I think we all are supporting the concept that you are interrupting me, okay? We cannot use state resources to run political campaigns.
Dr. Tracy, can I get my 30 seconds? Kev cannot do this to us. As soon as we open our mouth, he interrupt.
Yes, I'm coming.
Everybody gave you a chance to talk.
We made an announcement about how the United States government is expressing concern over corruption again. And this came out of Mogibee County when kickbacks were seemed to be at play here. Okay. The procurement officer was engaging in kickbacks. So I just want to bring out the news to you. This is kind of what's going on in our country. We're going to explore that. Fagon, you want to go, and then I'm going to go on to have the take play for this weekend.
This is what I will say about my 30 seconds. Dr. Francine, I respect you. I respect Tomali. I respect all of you in your various disciplines. But this is my area of concentration at all degree levels. Let me state for the record, the position of defense minister is like the equivalent of the Secretary of Defense. In America, you have the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. In Liberia, you have the chief of staff. The military is separate from the defense ministry.
Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it.
No, wait now. I'm just saying, in our country, it's a civilian position. I gave proof that Daniel Zienkan was the chief of staff. They had to retire him because army men, you can't be in that position. The army is apolitical. The security forces
your point was very well taken.
Yes.
Early on.
So we have to take you from the army to make you a civilian. And once we make you a civilian, you have the right to do what you do politically. The chief of staff will never do it. His army will never do it.
Tommy, you know this one. When you said it right,
we're going to move on. Thank you very much. We're going to move on. James, could you please play the tape of the president in his church during his sermon about, PYJ and everybody else? And then I want you guys to please listen to the tape, Liberians. I want you guys, panelists, to listen to the tape because I'll be asking you for your reaction to the tape. Thank you.
People trying to manipulate the press. I'm not blow program until people are watching home that blow program. So people are impressing. Special people that you bring people every day when they're ready, they want to blackmail you. Anybody that don't want to vote for us will not be blackmailed. Anybody that will ask me for money because they're going to declare for my party, I'd rather get money to the people that when you can speak to them on the table now, they're going on air, you are going to somebody want to kill somebody? Yes, sir. But you forget to know that those that you killed already, the people that maybe they're going to be they're not going to go and say somebody want to assassinate trying to make sure that everybody working similarly. You understand? So, and we're not afraid of anybody. And the government is going to be child, neither or blackmailed by anybody. You don't want to work with us, you want to see that. You like other people. But you forgot to know that the people, you think coalition, and that coalition brought everybody on board. If you the leader of the coalition, you leave it. You got to live with all the people. Those that are in the job, because we'll move them and put people that come in. Say, oh, we're leaving all that stuff. You must know they got their own livelihood. They don't follow them. They got to stick for your own livelihood and your children and your family. Don't mind them. Don't mind them. When you follow them, because you think that they can drive you, then other people that are coming will get the space. This of everybody business. It's not one for business. And will not be faster than anybody who not support all.
Well. Many things were said. So I'll be the last to give my reactions. I would like to start with you, Timberlane Naulu George. What are your reactions to the president's speech in the context of being a president of the Republic of Liberia?
Well, you know, the president is seeking re-election, and they've been in the negotiation for months with those that supported him 2017, and they've been finding difficulties getting the MDR of Prince Johnson and Jeremiah Kun on board, and LPDP2 and so forth, MPP. And on Saturday, at the program, the president was seated by the speaker and the pro tem prior to the vice president's arrival. When the vice president's arrival was announced, she sat with she entered the place. She briefed the president, and I could see that the president's facial expression was, it wasn't like apparently what he wanted to hear from her. I don't think he was getting it. Apparently, thought they all would have come. The chairman of the MPP and the leader of the LPDP, they all would have come and it was signed document and announced it, but the program had to go on. So Moses Cody got up and nominated the president and the vice president second the nomination. That I don't think that was the way they wanted to go. So the president went to church on Sunday, and trust me, he went there. He was not happy still, and he went after the Prince Johnson. But some people that are supporting the president, some of them told me that they thought the president would have still in this. He should have maybe get out of the negotiation and leave away with his guys to continue the negotiation, to talk to the MDR still, but for him to come and go after Prince Johnson and publicly in that manner, they believe he went too far. But again, if you speak to him, he will say maybe he's not happy, and that he was done with Prince Johnson. He already decided to walk away from Prince Johnson, and he's not going to talk to him about this help coming to support him. But right now, the president is seeking re-election, so he needs to look. It can be tough. Sometimes things like certain things people can write on Facebook, write on your post. You want to say something to them, but you just say no because of what you said. You can't say to them. So right now, you need to calm down. He don't want to be re-elected, and even if somebody making you mad. Right now, they basically got you got Tyler, you got PYJ and Bonnie. They basically got it. They got it going to your head and say, "Look, we on it. You got to talk to us. You got to negotiate with us, or else we will not support you." So right now, and George Weah, I know him very well. He's not the kind of person who want to be in that position. He's not the person who want to be begging somebody to say, look, I'm begging you to support me. No, he's that kind of person. So right now, he's in an uncomfortable position. He's not happy that they're pushing him around like this. So he's mad. He carrying his anger and everything in the public there. But if I were advising him, I would have actually have done what he said on Sunday. You know, I wouldn't have things to say, you know, because look, PYJ making you mad, I agree, but you need a guy. You need Nima Kante. Nima is a very crucial Kante. We saw 2005, 11, 17. We wrote a Nima Kante play, especially with PYJ behind it. So President Weah should have exercised maximum restraint and control his emotion. And I would say control his you know, to get cool and say, look, whoever my negotiator, look, I can't deal with that guy. You go deal with him because I don't want to talk. I'm mad, you know. But he went on the pulpit and went after him. And PYJ, as I heard from the people, he's mad. He's not happy that he was considered a killer and all kinds of stuff. He's hurting now. He's mad, and he's gonna respond. And then they make a negotiation not make it so muddy. Because at the same time, don't forget though, while nothing was happening, the CDC are still in talks with MDR on another level. You see, now with PYJ directly now, but the MDR is still trying to talk to them. Over the weekend, trying to talk to them still. So you see, I think he went too far to go and attack PYJ like that, especially PYJ were instrumental in his election in 2017. And right now, I don't think he did himself and his party good to be the one to have said what he said. And so right now, I just hope the president could just take himself out of this negotiation and let his team do it, because I know he's not happy with what's happening. But I think his comments were, I don't think it was appropriate to what PYJ on Sunday, especially somebody who he's been in a coalition with and help you a lot in the last election. So I just felt that the president, I think he really lost his cool on Sunday.
So Timothy, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask the rest of the panelists the same question, and you don't have to answer. What do you make of this president communicating in the pulpit? You know him. Why does he speak to people, Liberian people? Why does he speak like the way he speaks when he's in church?
You know, I mean, it's strange to me because usually all throughout the time from 2004 where with CDC and President Weah, he would speak extemporaneously, and that's when he's at his best. Let me tell you, if George Weah is speaking without no prepared text, he's at his best. Really? All prepared text. I'm telling you, is when he will flow. He will flow with his audience, but it's strange that since he became president, he used the pulpit most of the time to go after his opponents, to respond to his critics, and for me, I don't think it's the right thing to do, to use the pulpit to do it. I think the president, he has the bullet pulpit. He can use it as a press conference. He can call a press conference. You saw Trump all the time. He had press conference when he would go after his opponents using the pulpit, his press conference and so forth. But President, we are going in the church to respond to his critics and also to go after them. I don't think it's the right thing to be doing, especially in the church, the edifice, you know, to do it. I think he should be, if he goes to the church, he should be preaching message of hope and of unity and so forth. But to use it to go after his opponent, I don't think it's the right thing to do. So it's something that's strange. Saying he became president, I noticed, but he didn't do these things when he was a senator or when he was political leader of CDC. It's just strange that he's doing it right now.
Thank you, Tamale George. Kef Hassan, do you want to have any reflection, thoughts about what you saw the president's conversation in his church? What are your thoughts about it?
You people sometimes don't either they don't want to remember, or they force themselves not to remember, or they do have political amnesia. Prince Johnson accused this president and his government of wanting to kill him. The only thing you say, oh, Prince Johnson was around. Oh, the government needs to answer. The government is like, this is serious. We are in the age of people who calling the American, tell them to sanction people. We have people who sanction because saying that they have a warlord who want to kill political leader, who threaten political leader. And the president is telling the world, I'm not the killer. Maybe the people that you kill after you, but I don't kill. We're talking to a man who took part in peace, who helped to disarm our children, and you telling the world that this man wants to kill you. We have Prince Johnson on the show saying that the president and his government want to kill him. And the president answer, and he said the president not supposed to answer. To sit down so the international community and the world feel like take this Prince Johnson lies as true. Why honesty? Why we cannot be honest? Prince Johnson was on the show last week accusing this president of want to kill him. You see, I grew up in a church in Burma called the United Pentecostal Church. I grew up in that church. The church is the appropriate place to speak. Yes. The church is where they talk about Saul, who persecutes and killed Christians. He was a military man. The church talk about Paul. The church talk about war. The church talk about killing Christians. The church is the appropriate place to talk. That's why the Bible says, come as you are. The church is where you go, you vent, you take it out. I don't know where you're talking about church and this, but the church is the place, because otherwise people will not talk about Saul, who persecute Christian. Otherwise, the Quran will not talk about Prophet Muhammad came with the Bible and the gun in his hand. They will not talk about all those things. It's there. It's there. So people should understand. But again, the political season people want to play. But read your Bible. Read your Bible. Then you will know that they talk about war. They talk about killing. They talk about killing innocent people. They talk about lies. How they lie on Christian and persecute Christian and kill Christian. It's in the Bible. So when the president talking in church about lying on him, why are we not calling Prince Johnson out for lying? So the president reminding the Liberian people. A friend of mine text me and say, my father was killed at the Freeport by Prince Johnson. I'm hurt. Decoration Day, we don't have a grave. I felt his pain about 3 o'clock this morning. And about 2 something or 3 o'clock, I felt his pain. He don't have a grave to go. Then this man is accusing a certain president, a man, a peace ambassador, a man whose life is an open book. Open book. A guy called Paulo Di Canio who played soccer. He did his hand, the Nazi's hand in Europe. I don't know if you remember that name, Tommy George. It was a big storm because of Hitler, because he celebrated his goal with his hand up. You remember that, Tommy? They check those people. If this president had any dealing with any warlord, he will not play internationally. He will never, because they check them every day. Every day. So for somebody who has a history as Prince Johnson, accusing, so the president's reminding people, look at this man. And let's go on the job issue. He said,
Kev, I'm sorry. Let's wrap it up, please. So
yeah, let me just wrap it up.
Yes.
Prince Johnson said his men who in the government, they are barely driven. They need to leave. Listen to Prince Johnson Sunday. He said they are barely driven. So the president said, okay, if you want to go, go. But you should stay for the sake of your family, your well-being. You should stay. But Prince Johnson said they are barely driven. So anytime you listen to things, don't listen to one side, because there's 3 sides to a story. 3.
Thank you so
this
much.
Side, the other side, and then the truth.
All right.
Listen to what Prince Johnson said. We cannot listen to one side.
Yeah, we're going to play.
Men they should leave. He said they are barely driven.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Answer that.
Mr. Fagon, your reaction to what you heard the president say in his church. I just want to be mindful. We all spoke and we listened. No one interrupted anybody. So let's make sure that we respect our audience and not interrupt anyone as to speak. Thank you.
First of all, there is a reason why our Constitution calls for the separation of state and religion. That's the first thing I have to say. The Constitution, which is political, calls for separation of church or religion, I should say, and state. And then the Bible in Mark 12:17, to be precise, says, render unto Caesar what is his. Talking about Paul on his way to Damascus to prosecute, is Bible stories meant to teach. But when the pulpit becomes a place for politics, then we are forced to remind people of what the Constitution or the Bible says. Having said that, I listened to the president, and apparently the president have not read carefully Article 54, which helps him understand who he can appoint and the power he have to even fire them. But to generalize everything and say that y'all got to follow your leader because other people coming, he didn't say the one I appointed. It means the president, again, apart from Article 54, have not read his Constitution and does not take into consideration Article 18, which states, and I quote, all Liberian citizens shall have equal opportunity for work and employment, regardless of sex, creed, religion, ethnic background, place of origin, or political affiliation. And all shall be entitled to equal pay for equal work. What did his harmonization do first? Pay some people $45 for the same work, some people paid $350. He forgot Article 18 tells him that it is the right of the Liberian citizen to have a job. But the Constitution tells him he can fire the one he appointed. But did he say that? He said no. The citizens will follow their political leader because the other ones that are coming, he have to make room for them. That is so wrong. And like Tomali said, I don't know who advises him. He doesn't read his Constitution. He doesn't study in the evening. And he comes out and makes these statements. On the issue of Prince Johnson saying, look, someone wants to kill me. The president said in his response, because everybody knows he's talking to Prince Johnson, it's not a secret. He says, who are you? Who want to kill you? Who are you? Well, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, I wish the president would have said, Who are you, Emmanuel Bateniswa? Because he was doing an audit that was damaging. Who are you, Albert Peters? He was an auditor. Who are you, Gifty Lama? He was an auditor. Who are you, George Fambutu? He was an auditor. Who are you, Matthew Innes? They all died within weeks of each other. And their deaths was not due to polio or sickle cell. They all died mysteriously. If it was not an accident, it was an incident. So let's look at the word accident and incident. Incident in the context of Emmanuel Bateniswa. They say he fell down from the steps. From upstairs. Let's look at Albert Peters and Gifty Lama. First, an accident with regards to a car. George Fambutu, it was an accident with respect to a car. Matthew Innes, it was an accident. Even though we never saw the crime scene, we're still looking for the taxes that hit him. So when you ask people who say, people want to kill me, or the government want to kill me, instead of saying, okay, can you please file a complaint with the police?
Mr. Fagon, please wrap
so
it up.
that they can look into it. But you say, who are you? So if these auditors had gone to say, we have daily reports and people want to murder us, you would have said, who are you? You would have saved their lives today. So I'm closing by saying, when people say, oh, I'm scared, people want to kill me, you say, okay, we will look into it and we will provide you the necessary security for now. You don't ask them, who are you? They are human beings. They're not dogs. They're not chicken either.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to just give my thoughts about this, and then we're going to bring in Dr. Henry Peabody. Thank you for coming in. We're just kind of, we have played the president's tape where he was speaking his church this past Sunday, and we're responding to it. And, you know, I asked the question, and I think both Sintimon George and Kev Hassan and Eugene Fagon answered, why does the president speak in his church to the Liberian people as opposed to use his resources, his Minister of Information, press conferences to speak to Liberian people, as opposed to, it's almost like throwing jabs, throwing hints, you know, in the church. The only thing that I can think about is he's kind of degrading the role of the presidency. Some people can say that's his way of speaking, but it's okay when you can speak and you can flow, but you have to be able to have the flexibility in speaking where you can at least be able to address multiple audience. When you speak in that way, it's sort of, to me, it just sort of like you speak to people in a demeaning way. Like when you say somebody is a killer, you are referring to Prince Johnson, and you said in your speech, the people that he killed is now running behind him, or you say that he's a manipulator, and all these things, like he's a blackmailer. Those were all names that you are using in the church. And for some church people, and maybe Dr. Henry Body can speak to this, the church is supposed to be a good place, a place where people are supposed to be happy. They shouldn't be agonized. And so when I hear him speak that way, it's almost like he's agonizing other Liberians, not all Liberians. And I thought it was fascinating to me to see people clapping. You know, anytime I'm in church and I hear agonizing speech, it sort of makes me feel uneasy. Okay. And again, I wish he could use the state resources, because he's the chief citizen. He's the one that's supposed to demonstrate good communication skills to us. He's supposed to be able to express, help Liberians be able to model how to communicate with each other, even when you like or dislike something. But it's almost like he's doing this kind of one. We had a guest on this show who said, loose talk, sink ship. It's almost, that's kind of what I think happening, like this kind of loose talking that happens. And it just can, it has a whole lot of implications. You know, when you talk about, somebody should be vindicated, the person was lied on, you are actually causing a disservice to the justice system, to the security people, because you are just kind of speaking without providing any evidence as to why should somebody be free from jail, because you're making allegations. So that's my thought about what I think happened in church. I hope that we can have a president who will be able to speak to Liberian people, at least have a press conference or have a different type of speech. Dr. Peabody, you want to give your reaction? Then we're going to go to Prince Johnson's party. MDR is going to also tell us their reaction to the president's speech today.
All right, good to see everybody on this Monday evening. Let me say that what I observed, from my own deduction, listening to both people go after each other, two good friends who have bad blood for each other. We see Prince Johnson was out there and said that the president has not delivered. The president the government took the money from the people of Nima. They did not bring that. He talked about somebody cannot shoot themselves 3 times, and although accusation pointed toward the government, on the other hand, President Weah called him a killer and said that he's a killer and he killed a lot of people and nobody want to kill him, stuff like that. But and we see, yes, if he was a killer, you wouldn't have gone with him to Nigeria to meet a spiritual leader and all of that. So what we see here is 2 friends, good friends, having serious disagreement, and they have few in some bad blood. And so the both of them are going back at each other and exchanging words and telling others this, you did this. 2 pastors beefing, like somebody said. You have 2 pastors that are beefing, at each other. So I mean, you said something that was just saying, the church should be a place, but sometimes the church can be very political. If you don't know, that's one of the major political stuff we know in the world when it comes to the church. It can be very political, But what I think the president needs to play a bigger role as the big brother and stuff like that. But again, somebody hitting him and he hitting them back. They were best friends before. They went to Nigeria together. They sat with the late prophet who said that, oh yeah, you can be president, and Prince Johnson thought he had done great things and stuff like that. So he accused the government accused him and all of that. So that's what we're looking at here, but I think the president should play a bigger role, not to give in, but as too many always say on the show, in the next few weeks or months to come, there'll be a lot of things taking place before the election. Now we see the party affiliation stuff going on right now. They're going back and forth. Prince Johnson say, I will not sign. We say we don't need you no more. So, I mean, it's just what it is. That's the political season, and everybody hitting each other. 2 best friends hitting each other from the pulpit too. The 2 of them stand on the pulpit and say, I want to preach on this too. Let's see who God will hear today.
And you make a good point, and we're going to move on to our next segment, which would be the response from Prince Johnson, whatever he said in the pulpit. And then I know MDR did give her a response. I saw something on KMTV. I think one of you guys posted it into our chat room. It's just interesting. We can laugh about it, but it's also very serious, actually, very, very serious. So James, do you want to play the Prince Johnson's response?
The Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction, MDR, notes with serious concern denigrating comments made by President George M. Weah at his Fokeklon Jade Family Fellowship on Sunday, February 5, 2023. While delivering his regular Sunday sermon at his Fokeklon Church, President Weah took on the pulpit and referred to our governing council chairman, Senator Prince Weah Johnson, as a killer and blackmailer. The MDR refute this categorization of Senator Johnson In the strongest of terms, the party hereby uses this medium to remind President Weah that in 2017, Senator Prince Ward Johnson genuinely supported him through the MDR during the runoff elections. During this time, the now self-proclaimed Pastor Weah did not know that Senator Johnson was a killer and a blackmailer. It is only today that President Weah has come to know that Senator Johnson is a killer, a blackmailer, a beggar, and a crook. The comments from the president have gone a long way in proving that President Weah has a short memory span, as it was because of Senator Johnson's support for Pastor Weah and his CDC that landed Senator Johnson on the sanction list of the United States. As a party, we would have thought that President Weah should have launched an immediate investigation about the alleged assassination plan on the life of our political godfather, the founder of MDR and senator of Nimba County. Over the years, many have described President Weah as a peaceful person and one who conduct the affairs of the country inclusively. However, President Weah actions, his deeds, and manner of conducting the affairs of the country prove that Mr. Weah is far from being the person he is touted to be by many. During his Sunday sermon, President Weah threatened to dismiss all government officials appointed.
Okay, here we are, guys. We saw MDR response to President Weah. It's interesting that it's a press conference as opposed to being in the church. So, Timon George, your reflection, what are your thoughts on what you just heard?
Well, I mean, it's obvious that the MDR, they were going to respond to the president. I think when I spoke to the political leader this morning, he said they were going to issue a response. So definitely they came up with it. That was a strong worded response to. I think what happened is that the negotiation that CDC, the president I think the president comments yesterday just made it negotiation more harder for the negotiators, because I just saw a release from Chairman Malou that tomorrow will be a signing ceremony. The president will be at the CDC headquarters tomorrow for official signing ceremony of the coalition document. But then I'll listen to the press conference today held by the CDC, and I'll listen to Secretary General Koji. He was asked a question, and he said, "Well, if the chairman of these parties of the coalition parties, even if they're not, the signature is not affixed to the document, they are looking at the National Executive Committee of these parties." So he said, if the National Executive Committee of these parties agree to the coalition document, that's what matters to them, and but they will still be talking to the leaders of these parties. So tomorrow, yes, the president will be going to CDC headquarters. He will be there for the signing ceremony. But the National Executive Committee of these parties, they can agree to one thing, and then the partisans, therefore the partisans too, because even your leadership can agree to something. If the partisans are not in line with it too, they will split. They will split. So what I see happening is that the coalition, perhaps they are split. And because if Chairman Bani and he's not signed the document, but the other members of the National Executive Committee of the MPP sign the document, they will go along. Chairman Bani, his faction will go along. Same with LPDP. If Tyler is not in line with it too, Moses Scott is in line with it, he will go along, and they will hit with the partisan, and it will be split. And that's a problem, though. But concerning the response from MDR, it's a tough one, because the 7 counties that can win election in Liberia, that in election, the vote-rich counties, Monserrado, Nima, Bong, Lofa, Magibi, Basso, Kimau, and you find the MDR, they are president in talks with UP, and other counties, other parties that come from these counties. So you see, the Magibi, the Bong, they're all in talks with these guys. So if the CDC pulled out of the negotiation with the MDR, what you're going to find is that MDR will become a third party, and that's the party that that's what you want to see happen in the election. To see an MDR party with other alliance with other parties coming up, it will affect the election. I don't care. They'll take votes from all from CDC, from UP, and from ANC. They'll take votes from them. That party you see, so that MDR party that coming up with a third party, that another opposition coming in the race, it will still vote for all these people. It will make election very complicated. People got to fight for their votes now. That's why I don't think it's the CDC in the interest to disengage with the MDR. By disengaging from them, it makes the chances for the winning the presidency harder. So the response from the MDR was very strong. The choice of words used were very strong, and it just shows you that they are in deep problem. And they responded appropriately according to them with the president's attack on the governing council chair. So for me, it was a strong response from them, and that's where they are right now. They are in complete disarray right now. They are fighting among themselves now. So it's serious.
Thank you, Tomale. I want to ask you a question, and also want you guys to incorporate the answer to this question in your response as well. Do you think Prince Johnson is still relevant in Nimba County? Because some people are saying, oh, the president's right. He shouldn't pay attention to Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson is no longer relevant in terms of being bringing votes to elections anymore. And this is probably what the president's depending on. What are your thoughts about that, Tomale? And also, Kev, I want you to incorporate that. Fagon, can you cover that? And P by the piece, incorporate that too.
Okay, what's happening right now is this though. What the CDC is doing right now, they have infiltrated the MDR, the party, and what they are doing, they have gotten some guys within the party to join them. Some of them were even in the march on Saturday. Yeah. But the MDR guys, they are aware of it, and they are saying, well, okay, the guys then because some of these guys are to keep position in government. So. And they are a lucrative position in government right now. So you expect them to say right now to walk away from the job and say they're going. So at some point in time, coming around March, April, May, June, look, right now it's all about, as I always saying, once the parties take their ticket, take shape. If Wega come out with his ticket, Cummings, and everybody taking shape now, the die will be cast. Those from the MDR that want to remain government will remain government. Those who want to continue with the party, they will walk away from the jobs. They will go. They will resign and leave because it will be the die have been cast. It's a battle of the titans now. They'll be fighting. So they will say, but right now, the guys will encourage them. So you'll stay there. You'll hang in there because right now we're still negotiating. We're still talking behind the scene. Nothing has taken shape yet. So right now, PYJ and MDR, they are. I mean, you may not like it, but they are still influential in Nimba. PYJ still commands a large following in Nimba. No matter how they try the government try to infiltrate his party to discredit him or make him look not influential, he's still popular there. But for the moment right now, it will appear as though that they have an edge. But as soon as they come around May, June, when the tickets are taking shape, you see what's going to happen. Then you will see whether PYJ is popular because now those within the government now that from his party will either leave the government, and those who want to stay will stay. That's what you see happening. But I'll tell you on the front, he's still popular in Nimba. He still commands a lot of following in Nimba, influence in Nimba.
Thank you. Kev Hassan, any reflection on what you just heard from the press conference that MDR had?
Yeah, Dr. Richardson, the two-sided politics and speaking of both sides of people's mouths in politics, I think the Liberian people, what we saw Saturday is changing that. And what we saw in Nimba when Koji went to Nimba, changing that. Imagine, Dr. Richardson, we were on the show, we interviewed Swakoko, right? Yeah, somebody you remember when she made the allegation Prince Johnson wanted to kill her? I remember asking her a tough question. You remember when Swakuko Dennis came on the show talking about Prince Johnson want to kill her?
Yeah.
Where were the MDR calling and saying for that investigation? You see, they speaking on both sides of the mouth and playing those games. That's why the Liberian people coming out Saturday. That's why the Liberian people coming out for this president. That's why the young people, the first-time voters coming out, because the Liberian people are too smart. Because they hear Swakoko. So let's say now Swakoko life or Swakoko not important. She not important. Or allegation not important. Nothing. So because Prince Johnson said the government should have pour resources and say let's investigate it. Prince Johnson on the show, he did not even say anything. Let's say somebody told him. But he not calling. Somebody told him, okay, well, somebody says XY want to do something to me, so the Liberian government should put the resources. So you mean if Mr. Johnson on the street or Mr. Paul on the street and say, hey, someone want to kill me, so the government should have put resources to everybody now? That's an allegation. They made an allegation on Prince Johnson to Swakoko. She did a press conference. She went in the in chambers. She spoke about it. Well, Prince Johnson said something wrong with her. That's what Prince Johnson said. He went in the church and he lashed at that woman. What was the women right and saying, oh, Prince Johnson? So, that both sides. But let me say this. You asked a question if Prince Johnson is still formidable. I think what we should be talking about, if the Nimba people, what they are voting for, because I think we do have a big mic to educate our people what you need to vote for. What I think the people will vote for in Nimba is the Gata to Toll Town that is ongoing road. The Gata to Yekepa ongoing, something that they're doing right now for them. That's what the people will vote for. The Saniquere road ongoing. The Gata market that is completed, where our mothers going. That's what they will vote for. The renovation of the Campley High School that is completed. That's what the people will vote for. The renovation of another high school, I think BAHN High School. That's what the people will vote for. We should talk about what the people will vote. You see, we should educate our people. Not vote because they like somebody. Don't vote because I like Dr. Peabody. Vote for what the government is doing. We can go over and over. We should educate our people. Vote for tangibles. Don't vote because Prince Johnson, they like him. But we from the CDC, we want you to vote for this president based on tangible. And based on that tangible, that's what you saw on Saturday. Because they are saying it. So sometimes people wonder why all the rhetoric around ain't work. The people came out. The reason it ain't work, because the people are seeing this. So how can the people in Nimba vote against their own interests? And let me say this. I think we need to stop that politics about give me something, then I will support you. That pay to play. And I agree with the president. The president said, I will not give 1 cent. I will not give 1 cent to anybody. So I think what we need to be doing on this platform is to commend the president. It's to commend the president of standing up and say, I'd rather give that money to the Liberian people than to pay somebody to vote for me. So the president is going against the norm. And okay, we should be campaigning against the norm. Brown envelope. The president said, no brown envelope. No brown envelope. I want you to join me, Prince Johnson, for the sake of the people, the sake of the places I talking about. The Ganta to Totan road, where our people will not make accident, will have a good road. Their life will be saved.
Okay.
They will carry their market. That's less campaign on tangibles. So that thing we're talking, for Prince Johnson, this for Prince Johnson, we should support the president.
Sure. And thank you. As I move on with this conversation, responding the MDR response to President Weah, please also think about the comment that was made in the press interview where they asked in 2017, they supported Prince Johnson supported the president. And they asked, did Prince Johnson did the president not know that Prince Johnson was engaging in pay-for-play blackmailer? If that's for some people might want to say.
It was not pay-to-play in 2017. It was based on tangible that the president is delivering.
Okay.
It was not based on that.
President
based on tangible that the president is delivering.
The president called Prince Johnson a blackmailer.
Dr. Richardson, he asked
the president
Dr. Richardson.
Yes. The president called Prince Johnson a blackmailer. He called Prince Johnson a crook. He called him a killer. So in the press conference that we just heard, they asked the question, when did the president know that they were a blackmail, that Prince Johnson was a blackmailer, a killer, and a crook? So can you guys please include that in your response, okay? And blackmailing to me is almost.
Can I answer that quick?
Well, you had enough time.
You just ask that question. Can I answer that?
No, because you asked
that question, so let me incorporate that too.
You actually answered it in your response. So as we're talking,
you asked a brand new question. Can I?
Let me just give everybody an opportunity to talk. We'll come back to you, Ken. Okay, Mr. Fagon, please go ahead.
Well, you see, I don't know, but I understand. I say I don't know, but I understand. In 2017, who was George Weah? Was it about tangibles? No, in 2017, it was about the tangible. Who was George Weah in 2017? Was he president? Did he deliver tangibles? Hey, the forum, frustrating the library.
No, the discussion was about what you do for the people.
That's what the discussion was about. Frustrating the librarian people.
17.
George Weah in 2017. Nobody interrupted you when you were talking. But soon we talk, the will say we can bully you on the platform.
Yeah.
You talk more than everybody here.
Mr. Fagon,
you interrupt them. When they shut you, then your friends then say we'll treat you unfairly. You spoke for long, nobody said a word. You have done it to us 4 times now. When we come for you now, your friends start crying. I will leave you again tonight. I will leave you. You're free. I will leave you. I will not interrupt you. I will not bother you. In 2017, President Weah was a senator. He was not president. And what President Weah said today, he indicted himself. You, whole day behind people, came in that. Prince Johnson was sanctioned for pay-to-play. President Weah telling us now that he was into pay-to-play with him. That's how he got the job. Now, you play part of the press statement. The sweet part, James left it out. And the sweet part was, I'm quoting, the MDR as a party anticipated such comments from President Weah because the party has decided that they can no longer support the re-election bid of the footballing president. That's a decision. That's a conclusion. C'est fini. It has decided. He said, Prince Johnson, they said the party has decided. Go read it in English. So, you say, is Prince Johnson actually relevant in Nimba? Anyone who has followed Liberian politics will know that when you say MDR, that Nima, go look at all the elections. They follow their political leader, they vote as a party. Wherever they decide to go, that they play everybody local, that a party. MDR. When you talk about Liberty Party, Baso you, that the Baso People Party, that Bromsky Party, that the Baso People Party. When you talk about LPDP, that's Bomi, Kepman, and Bapolu, that the Uno Party. When you talk about United Party, NPP, sorry, that Banga Bonkante, that Taylor Party, that the Pele People Uno Party, the NPP. While United Party, CDC, they move mainly around the country. But all those parties are rooted. You say, what is Prince Johnson significant? Jesus Christ. Jay! Go follow all the election record. Why you think George Weah was behind Prince Johnson? In some of them, I get almost 5 pictures. Some of them see him behind him like that. So then you see it like that. Literally begging. And if you follow Liberian elections, you and I know that no matter what you do, Lofa is not in CDC bracket. NPP Bonkante is not in CDC bracket. Now, MDR have made it categorically clear that they are not in CDC bracket. Those 3 counties, Dr. Francine, by numbers, let's just go back to the scene 2017 that my friend wanted to herald. In this 2017, those 3 counties, Dr. Francine, when they follow you, Jerry Leo Unwe go. Because in 2017, Nima Elun had 214,000 votes at 214. Bon County, 163,000. So that's 3 what? That's almost 380 right there. Then Lofa had 123. That's 500,000 votes back. We're not saying that you will win all. We are saying 500 there for grabs. And if the opposition take the majority, I am confident where I sit. Monserrato has always been, that's CDC business. They have always been an opposition camp. Monserrato coming in with 590,000, plus that other 500,000, the majority from there carry the first place. With CDC putting McGill in the PUP, I forgot about PUP. PUP, that Magidi party. In fact, both of the senators, Nukwe and Tonola, are PUP people. And Nukwe told Magay, they play you can't fight, it will cost you. And guess what? The 2 senators from there, PUP, when Magidi go, Magidi comes with another 115,000. So any candidate that wins the majority in all those counties immediately qualifies for first round. So where is CDC coming from with imagination? Prince Johnson is relative, just as Joseph Walker is relative in Lofa. Go and check the record. Don't quote me. The records are there. So CDC making big mouth, and you can hear, hey, who's scared? Nobody's scared of what the president said. Who asked you if you're scared? If you're scared, you're not talk. You will tell the person, try it. But you say, who are afraid? We're not afraid. You're not afraid and you're talking? Because the records are there. So, Dr. Fessy, I would like to state for the record, PYJ leaving President Weah, even Tomali no, a high judge also that JOP. It hurt. Because next to Monserrato, Nimba is the largest vote-rich county next to Monserrato. And the people there, they are very united behind a struggle. That's what caused them to survive the Civil War. Unity. They don't move from behind each other. And that statement will cost President Weah far more than if he had just remained quiet. I respectfully submit.
You can hear me? Direction, you're muted. So
Sorry. Yes,
yeah.
that's about your thoughts here. You can go ahead.
You see here, it's no doubt that Prince Johnson is a very popular man. In fact, they call him the Godfather in Lima County. Prince Johnson has a rich support in Lima. As we would not liked it because of the Civil War, but Prince Johnson claimed that he fought for the people of Lima. And he saved the people of Lima because they were being massacred, and he had built on that. And the people have done it in spite of his role and how many people that he himself may have executed and stuff like that. But it was a war. And some of us have been able to forgive those who kill our relatives and family and stuff like that. It was a war. So it's no doubt. But yes, if this man, previous government, had sought his support, let's be realistic. President Salif went after Prince Johnson's support 2 times. President Weah went after his support. President Weah was in the Senate with him. In fact, they were very close and all of that in the Senate. It's a bad blood that is feeling right now. It's a very bad blood. And I think, for me, I didn't think they expect it to go the way it is going at this time. I think they felt that they would have been able to put it together and that they would have stood by them. They didn't. I don't think the CDC expected it to get to this level. I don't think they thought that some arrangement would have been made, and things like that. So unfortunately, but I'm not saying that without PYJ, CDC cannot win Lima. I'm not going to say that. I think they're just going to have a lot of work to do. They're going to have a lot to put in, and to be able. But yes, I'm not. I'm afraid. I hope this doesn't fuel into some kind of ethnic division. Where say that the people of Lima. I think the president should reconsider his decision in removing folks that he appointed from MDR, and said, I don't think he should do that. I think he should just let it slide, let it go. If you're not going to work with him next year, but I don't think it will be a good thing to terminate those people from their position and say that they can go along because they came from a political party. I think every Liberian are entitled to their government. They're entitled to job opportunities. That's why they go to the University of Liberia and other places and learn and come back with the hope that the government, that's a responsibility of the government to create job opportunity for the citizen. It shouldn't be based on party line or who sided with you. But I think that's something that they can work on. They should be able to. They should have worked on. But I'm not going to say that without Prince Johnson, CDC cannot win Lima. I'm not going to say it. But what I know for sure here is that if this guy was not popular, why did all the other government try to get the support? Even political parties. Even there was an issue here with Benanash Ure when he tried to engage Prince Johnson to get support on his side, stuff like that. Almost every political party tried to go after Prince Johnson. So Prince Johnson is relevant. He's very popular, and I think I'm just a little bit. I don't think the CDC expected it to get to this stage, and I think it just went. It went very bad. So
that's good. Yeah, great comments. Great response to just the question. But so I'm hearing from you guys that this battle between Prince Johnson and the president is making the negotiation difficult. I think that's what Timberland said. He just said that this negotiation is just difficult to get through when people are going back and forth and having these words towards each other. And I think Mr. Falcon has kind of confirmed to us, and even Bonnie, Tyler was on the show yesterday, right? Or whenever we're here last, he said he's out. Tyler's out. Prince Johnson is now saying he's out of the agreement. So, but yet and still the petitioning ceremony is still going on. So this is the confusing part for all of us. And then lastly, I want to say, again, I thought it was an interesting question that the MDR asked. It said today that that I'm blackmailer, I'm a crook, and I'm a killer when I was supporting you. in 2017, did you not know I was a blackmailer, I was a killer, and a crook? That's the inquest.
Dr. Fessy, can I ask you one question too? You know,
Yes.
ask all.
Yes.
You teacher, help us understand. You go to nomination yesterday. No, day before yesterday, right?
Mhm.
You nominate your stand-up bearer.
Mhm.
Then that tomorrow you go and sign the agreement.
Well, that's what they said. They said
Well,
they said a resolution.
they said that resolution made it to nomination.
Yes.
So
Petition.
then, on what party did you nominate? You don't have an agreement. How you managed to do the nomination?
That is now that what we're up in the air now for.
You didn't register with NEC because NEC wrote you and say, "Hey, your document expired.
Right, correct.
Bring your party document." You didn't bring a party document. You get nomination already. You
that
don't get
way-
party, but you get stand-up bearer.
But that way, that like bureau, that way,
You don't get party, but you get stand-up bearer.
unfortunately.
Eh,
hope-
I
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
thought when I go ask you as part of the Jesus, you don't see what more you go take on chance.
Eh, God. that Sakoko who said that word, that comment there that I remember. But you see, you know, again, this is why we're here educating Liberians. This is why Liberians should be thinking, they should be writing. These are the questions that we ask. We ask the hard questions, you know, just to see how things make sense. James, I want you to play Simeon Freeman response today. I think I didn't get to hear the whole thing, but I hear Tomlin say he heard most of it and it was powerful.
Dr. Richardson,
Yes.
let me play input. You talk about education.
I talk about education.
You talk about that's why we're here to educate our people. We should educate our people when to third of the party, which is in the constitution vote, is the majority. That's the education we should give, and that's a fact. In the House, our lawmakers, two-third vote is a law.
Okay, so Kev,
So that's the education.
so yes.
So, as an educator.
Okay, just hang on. Don't question my credential. Just hang on. So as an educator, I'm asking you, the 2/3 of the party signed this document. Do you know that?
Yes, I know that for fact.
You
Yes.
know 2/3 of
Yes,
Carlos party signed. You know that.
I know that for fact.
2/3 of
That's right.
Bonnie party signed.
Yes, a matter of fact,
Yes.
at the rally.
Okay, say that again.
They were at the rally.
No, I asked him sign. I didn't ask them if they were at the
Yes,
rally.
I'm telling you, yes. I said yes. I said matter of fact,
I don't know that fact.
Yes.
And the last time I talked to the party chair who was here on the show, he didn't know either. So
No, you say he didn't see it. You say he didn't see it, right?
if he didn't see it, that means that he
But he's
doesn't
not
know.
in the country. You say he's not in the country.
But Kev, so if he didn't see it, he's not in the country, he's unaware. Is that correct to assume that?
What are you talking about? I don't understand. Being unaware doesn't mean the two-third never signed.
Yes, because he said they never signed.
According to him.
Two-third signed the document, and that's why.
Kev,
And that's why the president signed
do you have documentation to bring to us on the show?
Thank you.
When you bring that documentation with the 2/3 signature, I can see it, I will put it
You
on
see what's
the
happening now? Wait until you
Yeah.
see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Wait
Yeah.
until you see what's going to happen.
Yes. If you have, I'm just going by what I heard the party chair, Tyler, say.
So
I'm
the
also
party
going
chair
by-
don't have the document that to tell you sign?
Yes.
But you party chair,
The party chair do have the
Yeah.
document.
you
The
see
document
the
was
party
presented-
chair to be talking
The
about.
document was presented to the president. The document was
Yeah.
presented to the president. And
Yeah.
the
Let
president
him say you copy. Let him say
Yeah.
you copy.
Yeah.
We show you now.
to tell- And let me tell you, let me ask you this. If the
Yes.
document show in the coming days that to test sign, will you come up and say you were wrong?
If the president can tell you about JMB, that's
Will you come up
screenshot it to you.
to test sign?
Yes.
Let him screenshot it and send it to you now.
That's the education. You and Fadon can be a team to say any sign. You're
Kev, I would appeal to you.
misleading.
Let the president
Be a
screenshot
sign.
it and send it to you.
That's
I'm
sign.
begging you for, Papa.
To test sign.
Yeah, let him
That's
send it to
a-
you now. And he
that's
send
right.
JMB message to you too. He can screenshot it and send it to you, Papa.
To test sign. And when to test sign, it's a
Let the president send it to you,
But let's
Papa.
move on. Let's move on, man. Let's move on.
Produce it. I will not move on. Produce a document where 2/3 sign.
Yeah, produce it. Let
You're
the
asking
president send it to
me
you.
to produce a document where
I
two
am
tests signed.
asking you. I don't
Okay,
speak Spanish.
okay,
I didn't speak
okay.
Spanish. I didn't speak
Let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. If only you the choir up there, and you and Fagon anti government thing, if only you can stop. Let me say this to you. The president, and I believe the chairman of those party, took the document and we saw it live.
Live where?
Live.
Where?
They presented. When they presented to the president live, when they present the envelope to the president, the folder, I mean, live on Saturday.
That was quote unquote the resolution, not the agreement. The agreement they sign it tomorrow. They sign the agreement tomorrow. The way you saw was the resolution. Leave us here, man.
Anyway,
when to just sign the resolution,
we read along.
That's able them to sign the agreement.
Kev.
But to just sign the resolution, give them the power to sign the agreement.
Me, I like facts.
But I'm telling you now,
when you bring a document,
resolution,
when you bring, I'm not talking about document. You said the agreement was signed. When you bring,
I said to you,
but the reason proceed with your agenda part.
Okay. James, could you please play
the resolution was signed, and that's able them to sign.
Let move on.
James, please come and play Simeon Freeman. Let me see if just give me a second, guys. Tony, just go ahead and be talking about your thoughts about Simeon Freeman. Let him get to play his if you remember.
Yeah. Before I go to Simeon Freeman, I just say something. I just want that's what happened now. The government got to be, the cities got to be mindful. PYJ, he's coming from the position of the seller, the Mittal Steel lands right, the rental fees that they owe the Nima County $7.5 million. Now he's gonna push the Nima post. Look, they owe money, they don't pay the money, but they owe, don't want to get all the money. So that's why the cities got to be mindful, because PYJ will come and say he gonna put forward saying, look, they owe us money. And that's why I'm talking for y'all, and they won't pay all the money. That's why you see the problem. But so I hope the government is mindful. They are mindful that PYJ will come from that end, that they owe them money. That's what he's been talking about. So that's why that was the negotiation. You got to be careful how you negotiate with him, because he's going to push the people to say, look, we got money for y'all, but they won't get the money.
But Tomali, not just PYJ.
On the issue about
the money was for 3 counties, Tomali.
Yeah, I mean, he talked about his county now.
But I want to pass on a bond county there.
On the issue about Simeon Freeman, he said the president he has divided the country, and that the country he's not unifying the country. And then he spoke about the arms. He was very specific about the arms. He said the arms that was discovered, where are the arms being kept right now? He said because he's afraid that the arms might end in the hands of compatriots, and they'll come out with something and say there's somebody causing trouble. So the government should be specific. The government should come up and speak on the status of the investigation of the arms that was discovered at a Freeport, and which I think he made a good point, because the Minister of Justice, they need to come up and give the public the briefing of the arms. Say, look, we discovered the cache of arms at the Freeport, and here's the person of the arms where they are being kept, and what's the status of the investigation, because they can't come up with that kind of arms in the election year and then it's come and they leave it open, like nobody should know what's happening. And then he went after them about the issue about the budget. I mean, about the money that was left in the coffers. And he took apart the president's message, and he challenged them. But most of the stuff the president said in his sonar, Freeman was very clear. He challenged the government and to come to be truthful to the people. And most of what he said, the president wasn't true. The president's message wasn't forthcoming to the people, and he challenged the government to come up to respond to come out to clarify the things the president said, and he went after them. As I said, so far, I'll tell you the truth. If I'm making an observation, his response was the strongest as even the opposition so far. Simeon Freeman was very message to the president. So now was the strongest so far. He really went after the president message, he tore it apart, and so it's up to now. I mean, he has spoken. Just that I don't know. He has not declared when he will declare his intention to run. I know he said he's running, but I'm not hear much about him. Only today I heard him coming up again with a strong response. But Simeon Freeman, he's a guy who, I mean, he may not have all the attraction, I mean, all the people attraction, but he's a guy who is very strong and he understands the issues. He knows what he's talking about. Okay. He had a great vision for Liberia and so forth. But any party that he joins or he party will support, it will be a great help to them. He bring a lot to the table to join any party he will help in the election. He bring a lot to the table.
That's good. That's good, Tony. Yeah, so we getting a video for Simeon Freeman's speech altered. James Good is getting together. He said it was rather long, so viewers just bear with us. But one thing that I'm hearing you say, Tamale, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I think I saw that in passing in our chat room, that he did agree with Prince Johnson that there was money left in the coffer when President Weah took over. I'm still looking for the video. I'm sure Liberians can probably remember Ellen Johnson herself said on either BBC or VOA that she left money in the coffer. Timothy, you did that.
General Johnson challenging the government. He said now it's up to Beaufort Chambers and Abachir that he said he demanded that it present the 10-1 notes that were left by President Salif. And he said if he put a challenge that he said if the government can produce that 10-1 note and dispute what he's saying, then he think he said he would surrender or something like that. So challenge is up there. So if the government, the 10-1 notes that were left, because he said
But did Simeon also support that notion today? Did Simeon support that today?
Well, Freeman said that they left. I mean, that they left money in the government. President said he left money, and then one thing he said too. He said he challenged the president to disclose his assets declaration. He said make public the assets that he declared. Make public the asset that he declared to the people of Liberia. Make it public that when you came to office, what were your worth? What you brought to the office? He challenged the president on that too. The asset that he declared. Yeah, he spoke about that. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Kev Hassan, your thoughts as we get the video ready for Simeon Freeman? Response to him?
First of all, turnover notes is not meant for the public. Get that straight. Again, you're talking about education. Turnover note is when you leave. So when you come in there, you see what happened, and then you continue what the past government leave and all that stuff. That's what turnover notes for. So if you talk about education, we should educate our people. Nobody denying about 150 million. That's not the money. That's a reserve. That's not the money they're meant for a day-to-day operation. Operational funds were less than 14 million US dollar. The operational fund to run the government. That's what the government talking about. You're talking over $30 million to run the government for months, and the government met about 14 million or less than that. How can you run the government? That's the argument. That's the broke country we're talking about. That's the broke country. So you got to set the difference between the reserve and the operational funds. That's what we talk about. And two, declare your asset. That's what the law says. You should publicize your asset. That's what the law said. That's what the law said. Again, education. So we should give our people the right education. So to say, president will declare your asset publicly, that's not what the law says. If you want, as a Liberian, like you, Dr. Richard said, you filed a lawsuit at NEC. You you took neck to court. You did that. You did that. You and your girls. So why can't you do the same thing and say go to court and ask for the president? You can do it. You can go to court and ask for the president asset. That's the law. So we are saying we are educating our people, don't follow the law. So I thought we should follow the law. That's not what they say. And two, the American people that you're talking about, the American people, for the arms, they say they will prosecute all Liberians that are involved in the ammunition transfer to Liberia. That's what they said. It's on Front Page Africa. They talk about it. You call the U.S. Embassy. You talk to them. Front Page Africa report that. No, but those stories will be swept in back. Nobody will talk about that. But we want to present the message out there like nobody doing anything. They say they will prosecute all Liberians, anybody that connected with them from the United States. They will prosecute. So when they're telling you about prosecute, you know they got something on it as we speak. So they're there now. So why can't we talk about what the Americans saying, which that weapon came from America here? And they're saying they're taking charge of it. That should be the story. But to come out there like nothing happening, that's not education, that's disservice. So number one, let's talk about the arms that the American people saying they're taking care of it. They will prosecute people. Number two, you cannot say the president should declare his asset. It's not in the law to declare publicly. Let me repeat, publicly. The president already declared his assets. He did. Yes, he did. But the law never called. And you know who changed that law in 2014? Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. She did. On her government. They changed that law that you don't have to publicize your assets. So why are we not educating the people? So, but if you look now on the live feed, you see people say, Kev, you this, you that, you did, because of the misinformation they get it. And I would say, we're not going to create a stupid nation for people to come, publicize your asset.
Kev, I have one question for you. Is it part of the law for turn-in notes to be public or not? Is that a legal thing or not? Because you said
you see Dr. Richard saying, you see, there's two things here. They get diplomatic channel that sometimes government talk what they call the note verbal, that it's not meant to put in the public. And they do have the turnover notes that, for example, if Tomlin is a minister and I take over for Tomlin, he leave that note and tell me and all that stuff. It's not meant to take it and put it in the public.
Is that a law thing? Is that a legal thing, or is that a practice?
That's common practice in every country. Have you ever seen a turnover note in America? The America you
okay, we're moving along. James, just for me.
Have you ever seen a turnover note?
Give me 10 seconds.
Okay.
I beg you.
Thank you.
Give me 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. What is true? The law that the president is now forced to expose it. But guess what now? When the president when he submitted his asset, declared his asset, Front Page Africa editor, they used the Freedom of Information Act, which gave them the right to request the president to make his asset public. But since they filed, see the court, our courts now, the courts now have been the courts now. So
the court now, Tommy.
No, but Tommy now, why would the court is the one that have been delaying since 5 years now?
Not the president.
No, but the court can. Why are you taking 5 years? Number two.
Yeah, but not the court. It's not the president.
Okay. Number two now. Number two now. Okay, you said that one. Number two now.
The president should interfere in the court, in the other branch of government.
Okay.
Are you asking that?
Kev, with the court, why the court taking 5 years? Okay, number two now, right? Okay, let me move on now. The last one. On the issue about the turnover stuff and so forth. Look, is a public document. It's a public.
I know.
Public.
No.
Let me finish now. Let me finish. It's a public thing. You turn it over to the people of Liberia. You made a report. Say, yeah, well, that's what we met here. The president get his piece, say, oh, met here, and make it public. But it's again, it left with the legislature because people just say you wrote them and asked them to make it public, and it left for them to decide. But again, they are the one that ruling establishment, so you expect them to do it. So that's what we are.
James just alerted me. People,
I have one question.
Can you just hang on 1 second, Dr. Peabody? James just alerted me that the tape for Mr. Freeman, Honorable Freeman is ready. So do you guys want to listen to the tape before you make a comment, or you just?
I was not making a comment. I was just going to ask.
That qualifies and let's look at the fight against corruption. A foreign government accused several of your chief lieutenants and accused them of corruption. Sanction them. Your response, you dismiss them. By dismissing them, you acknowledge that there may be some issues. What have you done? You've not investigated them. You've never asked the GAC or the LSCC to even investigate them. The laws of Liberia are clear. We need to at least have them investigate them. Not just that, a person working in government, let's even assume his salary is $5,000 US a month. Overnight, he's got 5 houses. And these people are closest to you. What have you done to ask the simplest of questions to investigate them? But of course, you come to the podium, another 6 years is at stake, and you say, you passed a law, and as a result now, we should begin to celebrate and justify that something's being done to fight corruption. Clearly, your administration lacked the capacity to fight corruption because it appears to me that Liberia is now a state sponsor of corruption. Let's look at the educational sector. According to the World Bank, Liberia spent 2.7% of it.
Okay. So, Dr. Peabody, do you want to ask a question, or should we go to Mr. Falcon for his thoughts?
I think we need to. My only question I'm going to ask, I just want to know who disclosed that Eden left small money in the bank account. If we had a turnover note that was private, it shouldn't come out. Then who disclosed that President Ali Salif only left less than setting amount in the bank? I mean, that was just my question I wanted to ask.
So, according to KEF, there are only 14 million left. So, are you asking?
You missing the two things. They have operational funds. Is
KEF,
there?
that's not what I asked.
No, that's a two different money.
KEF, that's not what I'm asking. You said, KEF, I'm understanding very well what you're saying. You said Eddie only left. Prince Johnson said $150 million. You said 40 million.
No, they're two different money. You now listen to me. Let me explain. I said nobody is denying that they reserve 150 million.
That's what I'm talking about. The reserve, you said
two different money.
Yes, I'm not asking about two different money.
Y'all, my question.
I'm repeating what you said.
Yo, my question. Let me repeat it.
Consolidated money is different. Where the money go to, the operation fund is different from the reserve.
Okay, Cap.
The reserve talking about Dr. Richardson. That's two. Oh my.
Cap. But what I was saying is, we know that the turnover note is not for the public and all of that. Who said that President Salif did not leave the money? Because I think that's what triggered her to say that she left $150 million in the turnover note. Who came up with that?
Good question. Dr. Peabody, what the president was talking about is talking about operational funds. When the government came there, the country was broke. The money he's talking about, that's money for the reserve. That's what is there. 150 million was there, right? But the money to operate the government for day-to-day, for example, right, to run the government every month, you're talking about over $30 million to run the government every month, right? So when the government came in, they matched 514 million LD, Liberian dollar, and 7 million US dollar.
Please go ahead. Your reflection
or did somebody take Kev from her?
I don't know what happened just now. I don't have control of that.
Oh wow. I
don't know if he went back or by himself or something.
Somebody put me in the back.
Oh, sorry, Kev. I don't have okay. I'm sorry, guys. For the sake of time, you asked a good question.
I want Dr. Racey.
I'm actually going to ask my audience to go ahead and do their own research on that because
no, it's the right thing. It's a two different money.
We understand that. You already said that. You have said that about 5 times already to us, Kev. You understand that. I understand exactly where you're coming from. So I want Mr. Fagon to now give his reflection on what he heard from Simeon Freeman.
First of all, I think Brother Freeman erred when he said when the international community accuses lieutenants of corruption, you dismiss them. No, I think the rumors had it that he asked them to resign, but they did resign. They were not dismissed. They were not fired. But I think, in all fairness to Brother Freeman, what he was alluding to was, hey, the president said those people will be investigated. They were never investigated. The president said when Madam Keita was accused, he took, what's his name, Achibona to investigate her. That never happened. The LSCC brought the Freeport issue. That never happened. The LSCC brought the Ministry of Agriculture issue. That never happened. The LSCC brought the Ledgers issue. That never happened. I think that's what Mr. Freeman was talking about. Government not caring about corruption, don't even want to think about it. And this government launched an audit when they took over, not of ailing people, of our own ministry agencies and corporations. And when the time for the first audit to come out, about 6 auditors or 5 of them died mysteriously. And since then, let me ask you, the moderator, have you ever heard about any audit again? After the 5 auditors, no more audit. Audit kaput, audit done. Not even from GSC or IAA. Audit has become a thing of the past. But I send you something in Messenger to show you that even in the US, it is quite clear that presidential records are no longer private, but rather public. Now, the turnover note, whether you want to argue whether it's private or public, we know for a fact that it's public. However, it can be archived, it can be released to the public through court's record, whatever. But here is the argument. You said you inherited a broke government. That's what you said. So if you accuse the government of clearing everything, you say Ellen clear everything. Ellen said, I lie. You lie. I left something there. The burden of proof rests with who? The accuser. You accuse the people of emptying the coffer. The people said they left something and they left it in the turnover note. Kev said no one is disputing the 150 million. If you're not disputing it, then why you lie to the Liberian people? If I got 150 million in my savings and I got only 14 million in my account, and it cannot service my bill, all my bills, 14 million can't make it. Does that mean I broke? The 150 million in my savings, is that for me? Who is for? And Prince Johnson said, within 3 months, they had leaked the whole 150 million. That was a serious allegation. So people must start playing politics. They may say you stole the money. They may say you ate the money. But the bottom line is, why when you came to power, you never told us about the 150 million? Why are you talking about it now? These are the questions the guys are asking. And are they wrong now for asking that question? I don't think so. Because they feel that Mr. President lied to them. He didn't tell them the truth. Again, let's look at 30 million for the stimulus package, for example. I reference you to Article 34. Article 34 D2. Me, I let evidence. And I'm quoting. It says, an annual statement and account of the receipt and expenditure of all public monies. Did he say some? All shall be submitted by the office of the president to the legislature and published once a year. You get 30 million to WFP. That to account for the money, you say no. That international organization, so they cannot be audited. Yet a law I read to you just now. The money you get in, it was not your money. It was public money. And the law said it must be accounted for. And we must have a statement on the expenditure. So whether you give it to Satan, or you give it to Bapweo, or you give it to who, it don't matter. The law didn't say specifically whether you give it to somebody. It just said it must be accounted for as public money. That 30 million for the stimulus, where is it? The 11 million for the rest, where is it? The people 7 million for Nimba, Bong, and Basso, where is it? The 5 million for Bomi, Bapolu, and Kitman, where is it? Now, Benesi Papi for one more. Why it can't be accounted for? So I think that's what Brother Simeon Freeman meant. And with respect to PYJ, I close on this. Let me inform the public that just as Joseph Boakai won Nimba in the first round, just as Joseph Boakai won Lofa in the first round, that how the only country Prince Johnson won was Nimba. And because he won Nimba overwhelmingly, with 53% of the vote, accounting for over 100,000, with Joseph Boakai coming in second, 20%, that's 73%. Because of that, that one country put Kumis in fourth place. And Prince Johnson MDR, if they had not gone behind we are, today we'll be talking to different story. And if they don't go behind Nima or behind we are, their case finish, you'll start arguing.
Okay, thank you very much. So my final thoughts to you guys right now before we go to the phone line. I want to talk about good governance and something that will help our country. You can just actually make a few comments. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. Do you think if any political party, whether that's CTCO, ANC, Unity Party, pay people to wear T-shirts or to come to rally, does that erode our democracy? What do you guys think about that? Tony George.
Well, look, Dr. Richardson, look, our politics, Liberian politics, look. 2005, it was a level playing field because we had nobody in office. It was Judy Bryan who was the caretaker guy. So everybody was fighting. So everybody came with their best. And CDC came, we won the first round, second round. Things happened, and it's history now. But we still believe that the second round, CDC believe that the UP did not win it fairly. But things happened, and they declared Madam Salif winner. 2011, we had Todd Monday, and Salif won the first round. And second round, CDC boycotted the runoff. But I mean, you won't get nobody to come and tell you public and say, look, we give money to the people. You know, like today, I listened to the press conference when CDC and Coach were talking. He said, "Man, prove it. You'll say that we spend money, you'll prove it. You'll bring a proof." You know, he said, but he said, yeah, I will defend that our partisans, we get a t-shirt because in the past, they used to print their own t-shirt. But now they deserve that we get a t-shirt free now. We deserve that we transport them free, you know, and everything. So we saw videos going around that, like I listened to an audio. One lady say, "Oh, the money we spent to go. I said money they give her back." And, so things happen, but it is against it's against we shouldn't be doing that in our politics. But people are using money, violence, to do things, and so I have friends that say, "Look." I have friends that say, "Look," like one of my friends told me, "Say, Tomani, I beg you, don't go on spoon and can't go diss me, because they think I had to put it on my story that we the team together, war, t-shirt and everything. She said, I got to do it, but it happened during Ellington. Ellington, the same thing. There are people who they had a tendency to come out, you'll show yourself to, and now it's happening too. So until we get that leadership in Liberia, that we follow the law and change everything, because look, that the laws are violated on Saturday. We saw it. People, government officials, you shouldn't be in political party t-shirt and taking part. You shouldn't be doing it, But we saw what happened on Saturday. They were all involved in it. So laws are being violated. Things are happening that is not appropriate. But until we get the things in place to prevent this thing, that when you do this thing, you take a complaint to the Election Commission, and that they call it what the educated people call it, what the word they call it, the ombudsman, right? The person in charge Okay. Now that person's job is to regulate what happened on Saturday. But that person, whoever in that position, we haven't heard from them yet to say, well, I will take the issue with those who violated the law, the code of conduct, who violated on Saturday. The person has not done it, has not said nothing. So that's what happened in our country. And we see the true election. So again, it's the people that can say, it's the people. I mean, it's the Liberian people. They will make that decision on October 10th. They will go to the ballot box and they will cast their vote and make that decision to change their life. If they decide to, if they say that they still want the 6 years that they have endured 100%, they will vote him back to office. If they say no, want to change, they will vote whoever the opposition person they feel comfortable with. So until we can change it, we'll have this in our politics, which is unfair. It's not fair because you got some good candidates who don't have money, but they are at a disadvantage. That's the problem we're facing. So it's just sad. It's against doing that all.
Thank you. I just think about, and I have just one comment. I just think about how you enticing people to vote for you by giving them T-shirt or money, but then are they really voting for policy change for the future of Liberia, for the development of Liberia? So that's just kind of what I think about. Kev Hassan?
Sorry.
I'm putting yourself off?
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute myself, sorry. There's a video I want James to play. I don't know if it's ready. That will speak to what.
What's the video about? I need to see it.
Yeah, it's a video that I sent to him. That is a video about the same topic about what you're talking about. People asking you asking pay crowd and this and all that stuff. So I wanted for him to show that video. I don't know if Dr. Bimani can go on, then I will take his place. Then if the video ready, then not.
And are you wait.
This is not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. This is not my video. That's not my video.
Focus on it first. Focus on it. Focus on it.
Yeah, but
who playing this now?
That's not my video. Who playing this?
No, this video was supposed to play after your video, Kev. I send this to play after your video.
You send it, right? Okay.
Yes, I send it to play after your video.
the National Coalition for Democratic Change. National Coalition Dr. Ibrahim Malakula, Vice Chairman General, Coalition for Democratic Change. I'm Manuel Chairman of the Coalition for Democratic Change, and all the Deputy Committee members of the Tripartite Coalition for Democratic Change. On behalf of the Executive Committee of the proposal announcement, we want to appreciate every member of the Coalition for Democratic Change and have emphasized.
Let me go on. Okay, let me go. Thank you, James. You know, when people saying
what,
you see, you cannot pay for passion. You see, you know, imagine, this is not a joke. You saw the passion from Germany. All these places were right into the stage. You saw this passion. You saw people, and we have videos. You see people in wheelchair that shouting. You see people kissing. You know, we watch soccer game. You can see people kiss the badge. You see the kissing the badge. You see the little boy putting his hand up. You see him crying. You see a first-time voter of that little boy. First-time voter. It's not your usual people who go around and preach propaganda around. You cannot buy that. You cannot buy passion. I dare any political party to show picture like that. Any political party, you cannot buy that. These are young people. You cannot buy that. So let somebody come and change it, or insult these young people, or call them names, or say anything to the young people. And I want somebody to look at those young people, underage. When I mean underage, it's not people that you can send in America. Yeah, we know you cannot go buy liquor. We're talking about that, but you can see
all right.
You can see a first-time voter. You can see them. The passion. Can you buy that? The question to everybody on this planet: can you pay for that?
Thank you, Kev. Can we move on? I think Dr. Peabody made a comment here about how Liberians just love T-shirts. I think on our last show, he recognized Liberia, we just love T-shirts, okay? But the question is, and I keep on asking, does giving somebody a T-shirt change the fact that you won't have a job when you return the next day?
I didn't answer that, Dr. Richardson. Please, can you give me one?
Does getting a T-shirt help you pay your child's school fee? Does getting a T-shirt put food on your table? That's the question that I want Liberians to think about more than anything else in our conversation. Let me just...
Let's tell the seconds. Tell the seconds on that question. I didn't answer
we're going to go on to Mr. Pagon, and then we're going to go to Henry Peabody, and then I'll come back to you.
I just asked you for 30 seconds. I didn't answer that. Let's tell the seconds.
So you show video, you know.
Yeah, I know, but let's tell the seconds.
Thank you. You know, as a guy growing up, and myself used to get chai in high school too. I won't allow. Chai. So I look at the guy, and the guy, chai, take out the T-shirt. He put it to the face, put it back on. He take out the tea and do the man inside cuckoo. But everybody's showing that video. Let me show my own video. I get plenty that I sent today, but Jim said, no, the other money, the man that cussing inside, I can't show it. James, show my own 2 video where they put on cussing so we can see the thing they call real passion. Then Jella kept there. I want my own to be 10 minutes. After that, then I can comment just like he did. Where is James? Show my own video.
I know where I'm coming from. Look at it here. You begging me to wear it here. You look at my phone now. Hey, man. All the people that coming was out today. They did the other people to come and then they join them again. I'm going to lay down to my door. I'll clean my floor.
play my other one, G. Play my other one. Play the other one.
I mean, you wait. Wait. Who get time for white t-shirt?
Man, I want to watch the show.
Count this up. Yeah, need to focus on it first. Focus on it. Okay, yeah. Focus on the local. I want to do this Enchanted Sedition. First of all, let me stand. Focus on the local first. Then before we'll do the Lord prayer before we win it. I will pray. Then focus on the church started. Well, the first thing here is hello Liberians. My name is Aliyu G. Greatest Harrison, son of Monserrado County, to precise District 17. So as I'm speaking to you, I wanted to this Enchanted Sedition that elect the corruption president that came in the name of bringing job. Liberians will not be spectators in our own country. At the end of the day, he played mockery out of all. Now, example, let me give you common music. I'm a renowned trade man. During Madam Ellie Johnson said this time, we renewed our lesson for $30 US. And during the corruption president by the name of George Weah, we paid $65 for lesson for 2 years. Then we paid $5 US for citizen ID card for 5 years. To tell you that the government are ready for anything in this country. To tell you that I'm a this Enchanted Sedition, they are tired with George Manuel Weah. Let him pack a bundle for the country. We win world best one time, African best one time, European best one time. To tell you that the world made mistake and wanted to gain, they wanted to make one time corruption best. But they turned it over to world best. We get found with it. George Weah, if you listen to me, we want no embarrassment. We need your corruption group pack and go for the country. Example I'm going to show you. This is the local. This is the corruption party that was supporting people from the past. But now I turn my back. Tell how we hear woman laying. I turn your back to her in the group. I turn my back to the party. And I'm my family member, my children, my whosoever that will see the very local with them. You will be rejected forever at the judgment day. This is a t-shirt. I want you to see. I want for you to say my name. Remain constant. Aliyu G. Greatest Harrison. I'm the only Aliyu G. Harrison in the world. So go and check for me. You will see me. Let me show you the other one. This is a virus thing I'm going to point for. I'm going to be free from corruption. You can see it. This Enchanted Sedition. So the other one for your work? Yes. I took this t-shirt for her because I don't want to be battled with the virus. Anything that concerns CDC. So I want us for all to pray before we bring these things. No problem. So listen to my prayer. Heavenly Father, I tell you thank you for telling Jovia to pack a bundle and go one side. Bringing Jovia in a country was a great mistake for us. But whatsoever you gave food to us. Father God, as we are about to enter election, may Jovia succeed to win this seat. Because if he do, I will join Lucifer.
I don't think burning that flag on the show on that t-shirt will be a good save. I think you should burn it.
Save up for Moluba Molu. Save up for Samuel 12. All the bad people that I appoint as minister. As you eat heavy, listen to her. I know you eat like blood today. May you accept our prayer in Jesus' name. So before we pray, I will pray the Lord prayer.
Okay.
The image of burning it.
All right. Okay. Honorable.
Why you call the image of burning the t-shirt? So the image of the
Holy Spirit. As we pray the thing, may the God be free from bad leader and whatever. Let the world know that yeah, we tired with it. We tired with it mess.
So I think you got the prayer. So can we
accept our prayer forever and ever? So we are back and go. Amen. So as I let it match, so we are back to back and ever to ever. Catch, very good. What answer our prayer finally? Catch.
Yes, we can just defense. That's funny.
Okay. Go ahead with your reflection.
That the other guy used the other t-shirt for Flore. The other one point here. The other 3 people, different locations, they burned us except they were using profanitives that cannot be used here. But you see, what I don't like, Dr. Peabody, I must express it to you. You will allow Kev to have his way. You will not say a word. This thing is freedom. Even CNN can show them Wendy flag. That thing not flag. That t-shirt. What's wrong with it? Other men naked say. Put it back on. Naked say again. No talk. Then people can do. We said no, we don't want to show it. What we're showing, this is a network. We're not running propaganda. We bring the news and we tell the people as it is. If I had told the people are wearing t-shirt, somebody would say that lie. People were stepping on t-shirt, somebody would say that lie. The truth of the matter here is, it has been proven, many of the people who went out there said they were threatened. The president went on his pulpit. He said if they didn't be with him, he would sack everybody. That is another threat. But what I see, Kev talked about the passion of the people that wears the t-shirt. But he forgot to mention the disenchanted. And what I would say, disenchanted seditions are more than the happy seditions. That is a fact that has been proven over and over, and nobody can challenge it. The disenchanted, I repeat, and I challenge anyone. They flogged us in the special election. They did it in the mid. They did it in the by-election. The disenchanted seditions are more. And what you just saw, Dr. Peabody, is just the tip of the iceberg. Wait until you read near election. You will know who all money they caught for the last 5 years. What did the gentleman say? Maybe we're looking at the t-shirt. What pissed him off? He's a professional man. His license, Honor Ellie, Dr. Francine used to be home at 35, right? Honor George Weah is what? 65. You expect him to be happy? Honor Ma Ellie, gasoline was $3.50. My late brother was making $220. And this is real story I'm telling you. He now makes $90 and gasoline is $5.20. Becquerel was 13 when he made $220. He making $90 now. Becquerel at $20 to $30.
Okay.
You think they would be happy? So I like when Kev said, look at the passion. Look at the passion.
Okay, Mr. Fakon.
But consider the disenchantment and the unhappiness and the unlawful treatment you meted to them as a method told by the president that he cut their money for 5 years. Look at that and tell me they're happy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dr. Peabody, your thoughts?
Well, what I would say here is that whether they like it or not, whoever you can say what they want to say, I think the image of burning something on the show was wrong. I don't think it was too graphic to show it was not a flag. It was t-shirt and stuff. I didn't think I liked the graphic part. That's my opinion. And anybody don't like it, that's their business. But I think the part of that was very graphic. Secondly, the young man could be put into some danger. He could be arrested. They could go after him. They could harm him or do something to him. Thirdly, when it comes to the t-shirt issue of political parties giving t-shirt in that country, everybody, all the parties will do that. All of them. You can't blame one party. Liberia had become used to getting t-shirts. I was in a political party before in the election. I was in Monrovia when they were dividing t-shirts until they could almost kill me, and I left the boxes there and ran away. So most of the parties, what we need to understand is that the people in Liberia cannot afford to buy t-shirts. Political parties, all the political parties gave away t-shirts when there is some major major things going on, you know. All the political party will give t-shirt out. So this is not new. This it's just the norm we have in Liberia of political parties giving a partisan t-shirt when there's a rally, when there is something going on and stuff like that. So I like to be balanced. That is not new. It's the norm that's been going on for decades of people giving out t-shirt and giving other things out. So I think for me, it's not what our people are used to. Some people buy their own t-shirt. Some people go to the party headquarters to get t-shirt. So for me, I think the burning part of it was a little bit too graphic. It shouldn't be something.
Okay, thank you so much. I am going to move over to the phone line just to get 5 calls. And then, and the question here today is, what do Liberians think about getting T-shirts in exchange for a vote? And does T-shirt put food on the table? Does T-shirt give them good policies towards a job? Does T-shirts help them with medication in the hospital? I want to know about. Let's start thinking about this T-shirt business. What do we get from this T-shirt business? That's what I want to know. So, Baron, can you please open the phone line? We're going to take 5 calls because I want us to leave out of here on time today. Yesterday, when we were here the last time, we went over, but we want to leave on time today. Baron, James?
7 1075. Let's go to the telephone line. Good evening. Good evening. Hello. Good evening. Good evening.
Hello. Yeah, good evening, my brother.
What is your name?
This is A. Emmanuel Tones. I'm calling from SD.
1 minute.
Yeah, my brother. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'll get easier from what Calvary Choosing just said right now. But let me tell you just about something. Frustration is not good for you are not in Nima. Myself, I'm for Nima.
Baron.
You don't even know what's going on in Nima. I'm not even forgetting Johnson. You don't have my mind. It's even my family mind. So I'm not even forgetting Johnson.
Okay.
Nothing my mind for Johnson.
Can we stick to the question about T-shirts?
Are you on the line? That the Richard seen asked a question about T-shirt. Okay, let's take this question. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello.
What is your name?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I keep hearing Fagon saying Donald Trump defeated CDC by 2 different terms. And he keeps saying, hey, I want to tell him that it's simple that voted for him. Now they are regretting for voting for him because they're not seeing any impact that he did for the people. Even the Grand Bastard Senator, the same thing, they are complaining about her. And the man for the local election at the John Head in Lufa. So the people follow with it. So you know, getting so the people to the 3 different times. They won't happen, but they want to happen in Lufa.
Okay, thank you. Dada Richardson, I think it would be prudent that you ask the question in order for the listeners to get the question that you asked.
My question is, I would like for Liberians to think beyond getting T-shirts in exchange for a vote. I want them to think about policy after the T-shirt, like good hospitals, good job, investors coming to the country. So my question is, does T-shirt equate to getting a good job? Does T-shirt mean you will get a good job? Does T-shirt mean you will vote for somebody to get you a good job? Does T-shirt mean you will vote for somebody to get you good tuition for your children to go to school? So that's my question. But you got 2-3 more questions to go.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah?
What is your name?
I'm F. My phone.
Okay, welcome.
Yeah, no, the things that they know. The person has serious problem with that. If I come, because all you see is talking about nothing like go you want to say go at all. You talking stop.
My man, go ahead, say and leave on Fagon alone.
We're gonna close the phone line. Obviously,
the politics, the way some T-shirt is kept on food we agree. But to show the relative to the party, you have to wear the T-shirt. Because the question to answer is still there is wearing T-shirt, going to put food on post. No, get put food there. But you show relative that you are that party member.
Thank you for answering that question.
Thank you. Let's take this question. Hello? Yes.
There?
Okay.
Yeah, listen to the video and play, Fagon video, Fagon, let me tell you, sedition.
You talk a t-shirt, though.
T-shirt. So your video that when you sit down, you just did a video to come on radio to prove that, oh yes, sedition had disenchanted. They will point you out where I present you how still
My man, Dr. Richardson asked a question: whether t-shirt can pay your children's school fees, whether t-shirt can pay your house rent. That's the 1 million question.
Yeah, the thing that Richardson, they printed that their entire survey program and they were printing t-shirt giving out to people. Why she printed it? The time she was printing it, why she asked the people whether when they t-shirt printed a carry on.
I ask you now. I ask you now.
Listen to her. She asking your question. Listen to her. Please.
I'm just asking now. I want us to just elevate the way that we feel about t-shirt in our country. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. I'm just
getting on very low. So
I'm just saying, does t-shirt?
Yeah. What are you saying?
When you go home, does t-shirt put food on the table? Does t-shirt give you money to pay a children's school fee? Does t-shirt? It doesn't matter if ANC. It doesn't matter if it's CDC.
It doesn't matter 17 program when you are printing all t-shirt giving out to your parties to go protest for tire something. You are
not ready to have this this conversation. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on. Thank you. We're gonna have our closing comments, and then we'll make the program announcement, and then we'll call it a night. It's 6:33. I want to make sure that we're out of here by 7 o'clock.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Welcome.
Good evening. Yeah, my name is Elijah D. Kemu, and I join you from Soaking Gilva community.
Okay.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah. I like a question asked by Dr. Pache. But let me say this. It will be so much, bias, or it will be somehow funny from one to just say somewhere and say George Weah or the CDC pay people, that kind of a multitude of crowd that gather in every spectrum of this country, and then somebody go and then sit talking, say they pay. Okay, for me, I was there. They paid me $200,000 United States dollars. Then when the ANC had their retired sovereign, where they had a lot of big God people working, and then they went.
Okay, Byron, we're not going to tell people how. We're not going to tell Liberians.
Thank you.
So, okay, we're going to move on to our closing. But the point I was trying to make, and some people are getting it, and some people are thinking it's only about a political party. To me, it's about the future of Liberians. Okay, after we get the T-shirt, what's next? Okay, let's elevate the conversation. We can get the T-shirt, we can get the money and eat it. But please be thinking about the future generation. Be thinking about food on your table. Be thinking about medication for you to in our hospital. Be thinking about good road. That is my point that I'm trying to make tonight. Not about whether ANC people get T-shirt or didn't give T-shirt. So let's go into our closing here tonight. We'll start with Timberland.
Well, thanks again, Dr. Risen, for good moderating, a good show. Look, like I said, we've been following our politics since 1985, and especially it got more clear from 2005. Everything you see happening right now happened in 2005, 11, so forth. People, I mean, the thing you see is not strange to anything that's happening. People will play games, they will hear deception. There's a time of deception and tricks and all kinds of things you see happening right now. They will continue until election day. And again, when JMB, UP having a rally, you will see people will go there. It's just our people are just gullible. They are the victims of everything. People will manipulate, will play on them until we can get it right. They will all be this will be the game. They play all the time. Okay, but ABC having the ANC having theirs will be the same thing. People will go there, then they'll tell you say with food there. Like you see they do right now. Oh yeah, you saw it. Even when ANC had the rally recently, somebody said, "Oh, we just want to go eat our food, our money." You see now with food and too. You know, so there will be that will be for the next 246 days. That will be back and forth, back and forth. At the end of the day, is the message, the way how you propagate your message to the people, to convince the people, making that compelling and convincing case to the people to vote for your candidate. That's what will happen. But all the things we're seeing, I want to waste my time watching all these things. I saw these things during the course of the weekend. I didn't really take it serious because that's Liberian politics. You'll find people there. Okay, look, I mean, we agree. CDC did a lot of stuff to get that crowd on Saturday. But you can't tell me that everybody that showed there, whatever they did to get in there, they all part of that thing. I mean, take it or leave it. George Weah got his base. He got that 25-30% base that just, I don't care whether he make it say around Broad Street, they will say they're not in there. They will see, they'll say, no, they're not in there. They're not George Weah there. A different person. They put some people loyal to him. So, and you will see it happening in the politics. But look, we will not get to see the thing taking shape on the JMB arrived, returned to Liberia. He announced his running mate, and the Cummings and his CPP go together, announced a running mate. Taiwan announced a running mate. Stephen Freeman announced a running mate. Majalokwa announced a running mate. Clarence Monaba announced a running mate. So they're getting all the. I guess Clarence Monaba, he coming up tomorrow. He's gonna show. He's gonna be up in the public tomorrow, and displaying his political skills. And young people might run behind him, and he may do his own stuff too, and people will say something too. So look, right now, if you haven't found Liberian politics or bending it, you'll get mad and you'll get upset with things happening, but it will play on. At the end of the day, all the things are happening, it will calm down. Right now, it's like Ben Sevi can say that the crazy season on right now. Everything going crazy. Everybody going crazy. When everything is calmed down, coming to the time for nomination and the tickets all form, then we see the real political battle starts. So right now, we up to now, the ruling party haven't yet found out to get a coalition together. Now they're going to meet tomorrow. But another group is saying that the executive committee, that the people, like 1-2 going there, another one say they're not all together, they're not all into it. So look, let us calm down, let us chill. So we'll see in the next few months where we are in our politics. So all the thing about burning t-shirt and taking out t-shirt. Tomorrow when JMB do the one, you tomorrow do it too. I say I must edition, but I would have t-shirt of food then. I have food then too. So look, right now we have been laughing and watching it play. You know, I don't read nothing to it. That's how it's looking right now. But lastly, what I can say, the government, the ruling party, they're in for a tough fight. They're in a tough fight. It's not going to be easy. They will fight for this. If they will win election, they got to fight for every vote. They got to fight. They will be in a tough fight. So let's see what happens. And 246 days to go. And one thing I want to correct you. I know when Kev was talking, he talked about the arms. Kev, the arm is not the U.S. government. They give a alert, but investigation is our government investigating the arm. They're not the government. The U.S. government not running our country. We are a sovereign nation. So we expect Musa Dino to brief us on the arms status, not the U.S. government. The U.S. government gave a alert that arms came there in the country, but there is this Justice Minister who sort of gave a briefing. He said, look, they are still on the investigation right now. This is who we have arrested, what we have done, and who will prosecute. So we want America elected us, but we should now, as a sovereign government, take on the arm issue and do it decisively. But for the reason, we show, and please come around for all to give some birthday greetings, man. Please later on. Thank you.
Yes, we will. We will. Thank you. We've got time. Kev Hassan.
Tomlin, our little George, the boy from Magibi. Tomlin, it's a joint security investigation. The American taking the lead because the source is from America. The source is from America. That's where the source coming from. So they're taking the lead in there, and it's a joint effort. I just want to show that. So where the source come from, Liberian government cannot just jump. We have the receiver, and they have the source. So it's a joint security. So wait until that. Simple. It's an ongoing investigation. But let me say this, guys. You know, June 7th was a massive vote against us. One of the callers just said, he said the people who brought Darius DeLong is now voting because he didn't do anything. But it was massive votes against us. And one of the things that put those people together, because mind you, Liberians tired with that games. They are tired with that politics of division. You know, one of the things that put the people together, it was that Congo and Native argument. The people didn't like it. The people came out in the numbers because of that argument. And because of that argument, because of that, now the same individual who were turning the people against us that led June 7 to be a success is now on the other side. Good luck. Good luck. You're hearing the callers today. And that's what's happening on the street. That's what we hear on the street in a tie shop, and they're saying, oh, you come, you say this, and you say that, now you're saying this. It's not happening. And when he asked the question about t-shirts, to reduce the Liberian people to t-shirts, to reduce the Liberian people, our intelligent people with dignity. I used to be one of them that sit in a tie shop. To reduce us to t-shirt. And I can tell you, the entire suffrage rally, over 150,000 t-shirts were printed. The people didn't go for it. The t-shirt was in the car of the entire suffering rally guys. And I was talking to somebody on the scene, somebody you all know. He said, look, the t-shirt are in the car. The people are not going for the t-shirt. You saw it. It was just what? December 17th? That's 2 months ago. For people to come and reduce our people to t-shirt and reduce the passion. You see, you don't want to test the Liberian people. You call our young people, you call them drunkards. That's what we were facing in the CDC when someone insults the people. When you insult Liberian people, they will show you pepper. And now, the same gentleman is calling, play a video of a passion, calling our people, our children, our young people of passion, say they drunk with God. Jesus Christ, how can you belittle our people? How can you talk down our people? One of the opposition people say our people are not informed. They don't have the ability to make some decision. And that's what the president say. You say we know nothing. You follow me, I know nothing. But we will know something when it comes up to us then. You don't denigrate our people. You don't look down on our people. You don't call our people passion. The little boy showing his hand, he wiping his tears off his eyes. You call him a drunkard? You call him a drunkard? And then you tell him that t-shirt is going down for? You insult him? And that's why some of us support this president. Because this president makes some of us feel good. Because he look at us. It's somebody from the ghetto.
Okay, careful.
He make us, and he make us to feel that we work
Kev, I'm trying to hit my goal at 7 o'clock today, please.
Something Dr. Richard saying. What I'm just saying that I hope you take a lesson from the callers. You don't insult the Liberian people. Don't bring them down to t-shirts, and don't call them drunkards.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Come October 10, they will teach those people who look down on them.
Minister Fagon, please.
I wish Dr. Peabody would have stopped Kev from lying on you that you talk down to them for t-shirt. You made it clear repeatedly that this is not what I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. But now 1 second did Dr. Peabody say to him, Kev, stop. She never said that.
Fago, you bailed me today? You bailed me?
Yeah, because you see, don't do that. Don't do that. You like Kev when you insult people, talk to people anyhow, you don't say a word. And that's what people texting me about. But the moment we come back to respond, then you want to be this person who's trying to stop us. It's democracy. Kev showed somebody kissing a t-shirt. You didn't say, oh, Kev, that's not necessary. We show someone burning a t-shirt, then that's a problem. But look at what Kev just said before your very eyes. Look at what he said about Dr. Francine. And you know the truth. Did you stop him? He's inciting people against Dr. Francine.
I didn't even catch that. Fago, give your statement.
Look at what he said about me.
Don't look for sympathy here. Fago, give your statement.
I've been in the game long, you know my record. My skin too tough. But I'm telling you, you have to be fair. You can't be one-sided. You have to be fair. And now because I've taken half of my time, I will just take the other half. You know, nobody noticing here, and I'm saying it not for you, Dr. Peabody. I'm saying it for Tomali to take note. Whenever Kev does a closing, he leaves. Like, I don't want to hear nonsense. Go back to all the other issues. It has been done over the last 5 days, repeatedly. So, if he thinks we're going to sit down and listen to it, then he's mistaken. We listen out of respect for him. But when it's time for us to close, he cuts the setup and leave. Like we're talking nonsense. But you know, Dr. Peabody, you will not say nothing about that. But if I were to do it, you would call me out. So it's like you're saying we are normal human beings, and that man are normal. That's what you're doing.
Okay.
Like what you're saying.
I said I'm
by saying I can talk more than 5 minutes.
Okay, please let's I'll we stick to the issue that was. That forget
about to the issue, Doctor. Dr. Peabody, Dr. Francine, I'm sticking to the issue. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam, for calling me to order.
Thank you.
You know what I noticed today? When you lie, the lie can catch you. They put to us, Kev told me that they were going to call me Baghdad Bob. That the people are going to sign on Friday night. If they sign, they will call me Baghdad Bob. They never signed. I don't know how they will call him now. Saturday came, the vice president had to run with the paper late. No agreement. That resolution they dealt with. He came back jail. He wanted to force the agreement on. Somebody had to tell him, hey, you making a mistake. Saturday was resolution that tomorrow we're coming to get the agreement. Before he understood that one. I am saying to Liberian people, we know the math. We know this game. We have played this game before. We have been there. I'm not dealing with somebody who started doing politics this year. Not this year, last year. When Kev talking to me, Kev jumped in politics last year. Kev jumped in politics last year. I was there. I've been there for 37 years. My records are clear. What I know, and Tomali said it right, T-shirt another issue here. Anybody bring T-shirt, will take it. You bring money, we'll eat it. But the new trend of Liberian politics has shown itself. And imagine we were the ruling party. We get all the money, we got everything. Special election clean, they lick us. But we put up more crowd than any party. They buy election king. Polito weird. Oh, Polito, hello. We carry political, we are not crowd to ATS. Y'all look for that video and see it. That's a small video. They lake us. We say, okay, you know what? They want Patoma for we kill them, we finish them. We carry to SKD. You know the question we asked Delon? We said, CPP, why are you not cry? CPP even have money to rent the stadium. They lake us. So at the end of the day, when people are talking about Tisha and that crowd, when I look at that crowd, unless I have not been through it, and I serve this government, that crowd you saw all on the fan, hey, bro, yeah, bro, hey, bro. They're not get filed a lot to get a national ID card. They're not going to get photos ID card. Trust me. That my picking in. They know how to call me Baname. That whole group you see over there, they got to get in their feelings and they got to go Zico. Those people don't even worry. I am saying to you, Dr. Francine, when you look at the BAF, for all, President Weah cannot knock a chest and say he will win Lofa. It's not possible. Bapolu, he lost in Bapolu to Buakai in the first round. And with the Western Cluster deal, he will lose Bapolu, Kema, and Bomi. Then you come to Bom. He cannot win MPP stronghold. He treated them very nasty and very bad. Then you go to PYJ Nimba. He cannot win there. Don't have CDC mayor calling and say, Nimba, you don't know my parents. I taught them the trick. You can't play the game with me. I'm the teacher. Now, if you cannot win Lofa, the Western region, Bom, and Nimba, I conclude by saying to anyone listening to me, Kumis or James Barney will take Maryland. I close on this note. But I will take Maryland from Kumis just because I want to be wicked to him tonight. He should accept it. I will take it from him and give it to Jawia. If you look at Maryland, Grand Coup, Sano, and River Cess, in 2017, all 4 of those counties, Dr. Francine, accounted for 126,000 votes. If you get 4 counties like that, and you take it from Kumis because I want to be wicked, you add up 4 counties, give it to Jawia, 126,000 votes. That's half of what Nima County get. I get all to you that half of what Nima County get. So when people talking, we are looking at statistics, we are looking at numbers. This is what we went to school for. President Weah, if something does not happen, he will lose, and probably in the first round, because Prince Johnson won Nimba County 53% of the vote, which accounted for over 100,000.
Okay.
The man that came second to him was Joseph Boakai, 20%. Before Kumis, Bromsky, Ure, and all of them divided the rest. Joseph Boakai and Prince Johnson carried 75. Then you come now to 2023. You say Joseph Boakai get pissed off. You say Prince Johnson a killer. How much for you think they don't care from you right there? And Bromsky is not alive again. Kumis is still in the race. Jawia, I don't know who you're listening to, but you got to look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Falcon. Dr. Peabody is 6:54.
Yeah, I will end before 6:55 or 6:56.
Okay, thank you.
But let me say it was a great show
All
here.
the time.
By the way, we had a great show. Dr. Richardson, always for an excellently.
I'm not going with you to Fair Green League again. No more.
Okay, you're missing yourself. You missed the good meat and other things there. So that business. But let me say it was a great show. Dr. Richie, thank you for moderating as always. Great show tonight. And but Kev, why you left when Falcon was talking? You should have been here. Don't do that next time. Okay. But let me see.
No, listen, Dr. Peabody, you know.
Kev, I
have another life. I have children. You see, I evolve into my children life.
I got 1 minute to talk, Kev. let me say here, it was a great show. And you know, I always want to balance things. I'm surprised I'm not called ANC Peabody tonight, ANC Pastor tonight. Now they're calling me CDC Peabody. You know, that's what you get when you give your honest opinion. The show is about expressing your opinion. we all here don't have to agree, and I'm glad that you guys respect that. But let me on the issue of T-shirt for like remember like T-shirt. As I said, I was part of a political party. I'm not going to call that party, but I remember we went to West Point to divide T-shirt, and I had over 2,000 T-shirts in my possession. Within a second, the crowd overpowered me. I had to leave all the boxes and jump right in the car before. So you see, what I'm saying is the issue of T-shirt is something that all the political parties have been doing. Some people kind of they get a T-shirt or take it. Come, let's go do the another issue we didn't talk about is the trucking. Most of our election now have turned into trucking in the different counties. People charter buses. People, get people to go up both sides, opposition or go. Everyone does that. But that's what I'm gonna say here. If you know you don't like President Weah, you know you're not up for it, you still took the T-shirt and wore it and went there. So then how can we say that these people are only the T-shirt, but they took the T-shirt? You say you don't like President Weah, you took the T-shirt, you took whatever you still went there and gave the support. So why do we blame the CDC? The fact is the people show up, the optics was good for them, it energized their base. I'm not saying every political party must pay people to do things, but whatever happened, the optics were good for CDC because they can say, you know what? We have 20,000 people show up, So mobilize. I think others should do the same. Mobilize. Don't I say you must pay people, but mobilize the right way and get people to go there. But I mean, CDC can say we brought up 20,000 people. Whether you say we bribe them or not, they show up. Thank you, Dr. Reason. Go show.
Yes. So before we go to our announcement, let me just make 1 minute closing, Tamale, and then we'll do our announcement for the evening. Okay. My thought about this whole thing is that trucking, pay for play, giving T-shirt, all of those things erode our democracy. It doesn't matter if the ANC people do it, whether the CDC people do it, whether the Unity Party people do it. I am trying to get Liberians to just think above this whole issue of T-shirts. I know you like it. Okay, that one part I know you like it. But I'm trying to tell you that this politics of deception is what is actually messing with us in our country. Because like the people say, you take the T-shirt, somebody count you in to say that you're voting for them. Meanwhile, maybe you're not voting for them. So, it's a deception thing that is going on right there. That whole deception goes into, how our leadership is behaving. We see people can now deceive people in the church. We can go to church and throw hints and not use the gospel as it is intended. Yes, my colleague people, they say the church is political. I know that. Trust me. My mother is my American mom, she's a pastor, so I grew up in the church. I've seen the politics of the church. But when you're using the ministry for its intended purpose, it's a good thing. But when you're not, and you're being deceptive, you're throwing jabs at people, I don't think that's a good thing. That's deception. When you're tired of seeing other people suffering in our country, but yet and still, you're voting for things that will encourage people to get rich. The few that will get rich while you stay poor. That's deception. When you're tired seeing our country the way it is, but yet and still, you're not speaking out against it. You're not talking about it against it. You are supporting something that is anti-improvement in our country. That is a problem. So my point is, let's move away from this politics of deception in our country a little bit. But if we must love T-shirt, and like you guys saying, they might bring a T-shirt to y'all know you ain't got something to wear, you don't wear a new T-shirt, you wear. You don't got more than $20, take it. But when it comes to vote for the future generation, for our Liberia, for a more deserving Liberia, for a Liberia where we can at least start to see good roads being built, good hospital, good school fee, good investors come to our country, then I'm okay with it. You vote the right way that you're supposed to vote. Yeah, thank you. Tamale, please make some announcement, yeah?
Yeah. I know, like I said, this week we have the only female senatorial candidate in the race in Babulo. She'll be coming on the show. She'll be one of our guests this week. We arranged with her. She's going against Amara Conan, Mohamed Dukle, Paul Kennedy. So we'll see what happens. We already got a female there, Boto Kane. So the Fatima Zina, Fatima Zina Brown, I think she'll be coming on the show this week.
As independent, or she running on ticket?
So let us know. And also Famata Lila Briswell from the CDC. Yes, she's the one that went in for Bong County District number 1. And I'm watching her very carefully. I think she will be one of the first candidates that will endorse, because I see the work she's doing in Bong for women and girls, especially in Bong County. But I got one advice for our musicians and comedians in Liberia. Look, in order to protect their career, I told most of them, look, I have no problem with them going to political rallies. Like, for instance, I love the music that President Weah and how they call him, Takon J from the ANC, they make. See, Takon J, like ANC man, here President Weah made an album, a nice music. I mean, I love that music. But one thing I can tell them is that, look, in order to protect your career, do it by contract. If ANC call you, make music for them, sign your contract and move on. UP call you, but when you start taking sides, then you compromise your career. Your people, you cannot forget now, the people that watch your movies and listen to your sing, they are from different parties. They enjoy you. So don't take sides. That's all I can tell them. Lastly, I want happy birthday to my 2 nephews in Liberia. God give them progress. Happy birthday from grandma, from your grandmother, Dorothy Ben Everett, and all of us. And also to Leona Hunter, also in Liberia today, her birthday. Happy birthday. Wish you guys the best, and want to say racing good show, and we look forward to having more better show this weekend.
Yes, thank you. Program note, Mr. Fagon, there's something about Western Cluster. There was a state order. Do you want to just speak about that for like 2 minutes? Do you know anything about that?
Well, it's not going to be 2 minutes because I don't want to delve into the legal aspect of it.
It's okay.
Yeah, but I can tell you that the Senate did put a hold on Western Cluster, and in a defiant move, we've received reports since Friday that Western Cluster is still operating. They wait for people to go to bed and they haul the iron ore. We went to the court, yes, and we went to the court and we filed our papers, and the Supreme Court will be hearing the matter any moment from now. We have asked for them to put a complete stop to the company's operations. We are praying the court the same way the Senate acted. We know the court is going to do so because of the following reason: that an MOU cannot supersede a law, that all of the arrangement made were not legal, and that somehow that the MOU expired. There's no expiration date in the MOU. It only said that they will resume negotiations after 6 months. Based on all of the facts that we presented to the court, we are more than confident that the court will stop the operations until we return probably to the negotiating table. But again, the Senate took a lot of decisions. One, they wanted to know legally who gave the authority to Snow and the people to go and wave $14 million just like that in thin air. Who have that authority? And they're going to come up with that. But what we know is that part of what we'll be rooting for is for them to pay us back the $14 million. We're not saying give it to us in bulk, Dr. Francine, but we'll make payment arrangement. You're going to give us the 10, as you said, maybe. That is left to the people of Bomi, but the $14 million cannot go. It will not go. It's when you owe people in these countries, they make payment plan. Every month or every year you pay this. To give our $14 million as the poorest county, Edwin Snow is in for a rude awakening. And we've already gotten word that the company said they're willing to sit down and talk. But we want the legal part from the Supreme Court, which will give us the leverage to sit down with them. We want the court to rule first, and then we can sit down.
Mr. Fagon, thank you so much for that announcement. I believe that in the coming weeks, in the coming days, we should get someone here to tell us more about the stay order from the court system for the Western Cluster. I'm not going to be here on Wednesday, just preparing the audience. Mr. Fagon is slated to moderate, so I'm not going to be here on Wednesday, so just so you know. Okay, I'll talk to you guys. Don't you guys be all excited all at once. I'll see you Wednesday. I have class to teach. I'll see you later.
No, I'm going to have a vote on the program for the time. I'm going to have a vote. It will be a consensus. So if we all agree on 2 minutes, you're not going to pass 2 minutes. That's the only thing I can say.
I will tap your star. Somebody will get caught in that star there. All right, we'll tell you later. Yeah. Bye.
Have a good night. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Yes, sir. A special one.
Well, that's our love to go home. Many thanks for following us. The invitation is yours to join us today because it's 12 minutes. It's 6 minutes past the hour of 12 o'clock, and Spoon team will be here at 8:30. Do have a God bless day, and Jeans, bye bye.
And your boy Friday the South Band.